Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a nightmare here. I think my mic's about to fall on the floor. So give me 2 seconds. Right. There we go. I think we're good. Welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match reaction to the loss at Dortmund. 1-0. Lots to discuss. Lots to get into. Lots to speak on. Lots to break down. Lots to question. Lots to... I don't know. There's just lots of everything as always. We were hoping for a result. We were hoping for a win. We were hoping for a positive outcome. That positive outcome, unfortunately, didn't come last night, but there is lots to speak of. So, as always, smash the likes, subscribe to the channels. Over, nearly 100 of you guys here already, so big up to every single one of you guys that are coming through as well. We will be opening up the lines today to give you guys the opportunity to get involved in the chat. Yeah, let's have a discussion. Let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match reaction to the Dortmund game. Dortmund 1, Chelsea 0, going into the second leg, which will be in the next couple of weeks as well. What is there to say? Where do we go with this? How has the fans across social media and the world reacted to this result? Well, some being quite positive, some feeling that we played played a decent game, played well in most of the game, most parts. Others still not exactly happy specifically, especially with Graham Potter. Still not happy with maybe the way that we're trying to play the game as well. So, it's just a weird time to be a Chelsea fan at the moment because it's just so divided. I just find the fan base so divided and split, and it seems like the vision of what we see on the pitch is completely different to each other's as well. And it's just, the pressure's on. And it's ultimately the pressure's on Graham Potter. We know this because he needs to start winning games, and we've gone and lost again 1-0. Obviously, there is a second leg. Doesn't mean we are completely out of this tie, guys. But it's going to be an interesting second leg, and we're going to go into it. We're going to talk about the game, and obviously we're going to get your thoughts and opinions in the chat as well, and just speak to everyone in the chat quickly. Big up to Father in the house. He was at the game as well. Big up to Leo. Big up to RD. This is exactly why we need to give Auber a chance. I want to see Auber and Felix. Well, Felix had our best chances yesterday, and Felix flopped all 3 of our chances. We're gonna talk about that anyway. So I hear you. Chelsea fans, how we doing? Big up to Jamie as well. Big up to Kane. Performance is there. Just need a goal to shut up the negative fans, is what Kane feels. Shano says they're singing a song. Big up to Majestic. Big up to Santiago. Ashraf's in the building. We missed Alonso's crucial goals. Owen, big up to you. Majestic, big up to you. Hafiz, nice to see you now. Bowley wants done. We're going to talk about that in a second before we actually go into the match reaction. We're going to talk about this news in and around Neymar as well. What else have we got? Flyboy says Potter out as well. Atraf's here as well. Texas Blue is in the house. When you start accepting defeats just because your team played well and gave their best performance for people to be proud of, that's when the club stopped being a club. I think sometimes we get a little bit too invested in it. Like I said to people not long ago on the show that what I want to see from Chelsea is the whole sustainability of being able to create and make things happen. Yes, we know we didn't put it in the back of the net, and we're going to talk about that as well, but it's about dominating and controlling the game, and I don't know. I am slightly annoyed with yesterday. I'm frustrated because we just can't catch a break. We just generally can't catch a break. Whether or not we play really shit, we lose. Whether we actually play okay, we still lose. And when we actually play and we create and we have chances, we still end up losing. It doesn't matter what way we fucking go. We just can't seem to catch a break. You know, it's annoying. Lack of finishing. M3 says there, Matty Casey's big up all this shows. This shows we need a striker. The team look good, just missing the killer instinct up front. No Potter hate. Welcome here is what he's saying as well. Big up to you, True Blues here as well. Big up to everyone in chat. Sam, same problem for how long now? We need goals. We've been saying it for a long time, man. It's not even a Graham Potter problem. This has been a problem at Chelsea for a while. You know, it's been a problem for Chelsea for a while. Big up to Lawrence as well. Hannah's in the house as well. She says, how could we have played better when we didn't score any goals? I don't understand it. Well, this is the thing. We obviously you have to win games, right? I get that. We have to win games for it to be a good result, you know, but playing with a style and losing in the way that we did yesterday can't continuously happen every game. But if you look at it from a game by game basis and you look at how we have played in the last couple of games, you could probably argue that the sustainability in terms of control creating was better than the West Ham game. Like, we were better than we was in the West Ham game. And that's, for me, the way I feel about it. Yes, we need to score and yes, we need to win. And that makes it better. But it's also about seeing some sort of progression, right? Actually seeing patterns of play, actually trying to see this with a bit of a game plan, trying to, you know, push the initiatives on them. Like, I hear you. I hear you. What's Louis saying? He's saying Saturday is huge for Potter. It is. It is. We will be talking about Havertz again today is what Don's saying. Why? I mean, we can talk about it, but it's... Will Potter rue not having a striker in the squad? Potentially. Maybe he shot himself in his own foot at that point. Big up to Corey as well. Ahmed, if we had a striker for these chances, don't hurt us at the end. Well, big up to Lawrence. Big up to Marvel. Carefree Lewis says, I want him sold. He's shit. Big up, Jen, by the way. Big up, bro. Nice to see you in the chat. Hi, everyone. Everyone that wanted Potter in and saying he's the best manager, we have a... Oh, God. I'm looking at the chat and there's 150 people here and it seems like everyone's very mixed. It's interesting. It's a real big mix of emotions. You know, it's a real big bag of mixed emotions, you know. It's interesting in the chat. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I feel really tired today. Like, my mind is just a bit for this one. Didn't sleep well last night as well. Slightly frustrated with what we saw yesterday. But let's get into it. And let's start talking about some of the stuff that we're going to get into. Obviously, we'll talk about the game in a second, but I just want to catch up on some stuff because obviously some good news is that N'Golo Kante will be back for the second leg. Whether it will be available, if he'd have had any game time at that point, I don't know. But it's good news. It's good news in the fact that he's coming back. And I think you look at the midfield yesterday, I think we struggled in the first 30 minutes. I don't think we held any control. I think we were overrun. I think Enzo and Ruben Loftus-Cheek were finding it hard to get grasp of the initial style of play of Dortmund. You've got to bear in mind, these two teams have never played each other as well, guys. It's not like, no, we don't know each other, right? You might know the players because you might have played them for countries. But in terms of clubs playing each other, we've never played each other before. So, you know, it was interesting to see. And, you know, they come out of a lot of it. It kind of reminded me of Liverpool away. That's what it reminded me of in terms of the intensity, the energy, how they moved around the pitch, got in our faces, was finding pockets in between the defence and the midfield. And we had to hold on. We had to hold on. We had to ride the wave. We had to ride the crowd. We had to, you know, get stuck in. Some good defending. Koulibaly, someone that people criticised for starting a lot. And we thought, nah, not a good idea. Stepped up as well. You know, so good shout out to him and obviously taking that chance and Graham Potter showing the trust. But N'Golo Kante coming back into the second leg potentially is a big boost for Chelsea. And you know, we've got Zakaria, we've got Kovacic who are on their way back. They're training as well for the team. So, you know, the midfield will get better. You know, the midfield options will get better is what I would say. Whether it gets better in terms of chemistry, we have to wait and see. Now, there's this news in and around Neymar that I saw this morning. Like, we'll talk about it really quickly. But in the meantime, smash the likes because there's over 200 people here now. 10 minutes in as well. And it goes on to say this. Kelly Affy and Bowley met in the luxury hotel near the Arc there, blah, 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 for lunch. And in addition to a possible move for Neymar, the pair discussed the failed transfer of Hakim Ziyech. They also discussed the Super League. So maybe it was just Chelsea trying to cover the cracks over the walls with PSG in terms of what happened with Hakim Ziyech. But obviously, there's talks about Neymar and wanting Neymar. And I'll be honest with you, I know some of you guys will be very excited because it's another big marquee name in the world of football that, you know, you probably play with him. I know you like that type of profile and his ability and all this stuff. I'm not excited about it. I'm not excited about it. I've never been excited when it comes to Neymar. I've told you guys in the past when we've had discussions about him coming to Chelsea. I don't, even though he's not obviously a bad player. We know all this. I just don't know how he suits us. And then it defeats the objects of some of the signings that we made anyway, especially in the forward line. You know, I watched him the other day against Bayern Munich, and he out of the three between him, Messi, and Mbappe, who only came on for half a game. He was the worst by far. Couldn't hold the ball up. Wasn't even dribbling. Picked up a couple of fouls here and there, like he always does once he gets touched. But I'm not massively excited about it. I'm not a big him fan anyway. You know, he doesn't. You know, yeah, his skills excite me and whatever else, but he doesn't. I don't know, man. He doesn't overexcite me. Is what I'm going to say to you guys. You can. You guys can, you know, if you guys are happy with this idea of him and whatever, then fine. I'm not too sure about it. On top of that, you're going to spend a lot of wages. Obviously, they're talking. It depends how much we get him for. Obviously, then it also it complies with the whole thing of wages, right? How much are we going to spend on him? How much is he going to cost? But then again, it's going to come down to how does he actually fit in? Because you look at where we're going with this, and a lot of this team that we have is a very young team, a team that's, you know, we believe is the one moving for the future, right? But then you bring in Neymar, someone that's what? I don't know how old Neymar is now. How old is Neymar now? Let's have a look. How old Neymar? Neymar is 31 years old. So he's going on 32, nearly. You know, he's not exactly young and he's not exactly like old, but he's in between, right? He's getting there. You know, how much are you going to spend on Neymar to come over here in the hardest league? He's going to have to be competitive. He ain't going to have time on the ball like he does in France. They're going to kick the crap out of him left, right, and centre. I don't know, guys. I'm not so. I am. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it too much because again, it could just be news. But I'm not. It's massively sold on the idea of him coming. 47. What's big up to Majestic? Big up to everyone. Good experienced player too. He is, but I don't. Again, it's just how does he fit in with it all? You know, that's the thing with me. It's not just about the name. Oh, Neymar. You know, like it's how does it work? How does he fit in? You know, we'd have to obviously empty out the forward line, but I don't know. Move for Neymar is just a money grab, is what we got here. What is the ball there for? Not finding talent. Yeah. I hear you. But yeah, there we go. Let's go back to the game. 250 people in. Get the likes up. There's over what? 100 and there's 100 people on GNA TV. 200 people on Chelsea Fan TV. Not enough likes though, guys. I'm looking at the thumbs. The thumbs are not high enough. We're going to open the lines today. Get your thoughts and opinions on obviously the game. But let's quickly tuck into it and have a discussion about it. You know, we're going to agree to disagree on some things. It's football. We're going to do that, you know. But I'm just going to, you know, share my opinions on it. Obviously, that goal from Adeyemi, the speed merchant, shall I call him? Jesus, he's quick. The quickest player in the German league, by the way, that boy. And we saw it. And let me tell you something now. Enzofernandez is not slow. He's not quick. He ain't got like that burst of speed, but he's not slow. Like he's not slow, like a Jorginho slow. Do you know what I mean? This boy, absolutely rapid. We're going to talk about the goal in a second. But when you look at the stats, right? Obviously, quite even in terms of possession. We had 21 shots to their 14 with 8 on target, 7 off target. Again, nearly half of our shots were off target, which is not great. The passing, we were better than them by like 3%. We had more corners than them by double, 10 to their 5. 70% tackles, 52% aerial duels, 1 against their 47. And we picked up more yellow. Well, actually, they picked up more yellow cards than us. They got 6, we got 4. yeah, the stats don't lie, and ultimately the biggest thing after of all of this is this, right? It's the 21 shots on target for me, and people, you can't play that away. Whether or not you weren't happy with the performance yesterday or whatever you want to say, we cannot condone the fact that we did not create chances. We did. We created enough chances, but the same old issues. It's like it doesn't matter what player we sign. As soon as they put on that Chelsea shirt, their brain goes dead in front of goal. It's like they become, like they just cannot score. And it's frustrating. I really don't get it, right? And then you obviously look at this comment from Felix as well, actually, which is quite interesting. It's quite interesting because I'm not a big fan of XG, but when you read into it, it says another mad stat in the last 6 games is the XG. So Arsenal's XG in the last 6 games is 9.7, and they've only scored 7 goals. They've scored 7 goals, right? Man United's XG is 10.38 with a converted of 13 goals, right? Man City is at 12.58, and they've converted 14. Chelsea's XG in the last 6 games is 10.43, more than Arsenal's, more than Man United's, and behind Man City in created XG in the last 6 games. And we've only converted 3 goals. Now, what does that tell you? What does that honestly tell you, guys? like our XG levels are higher than Man United and Arsenal's. Teams that are well ahead of us, well ahead above us. It goes on to say that, in other words, over this last 6 games, Man United have accumulated less XG than Chelsea, but have scored more than quadruple the amount of goals. Yeah, and he's going to make a video on it as well. And obviously, Mod says, well, wasn't that similar issue at Brighton? They were known for having high XG but not converting. Is that a coincidence or what? Goes on to say, yeah, back in 2021, over time, they started converting patients. When Potter left, they were 4th. Potter had to figure out a way to improve it without changing the striker. Danny Welbeck was the striker at the time. We buy a striker. We buy a striker, and it speeds up the process. Just got an Arsenal fan digging at Chelsea, digging at the goal that they scored. One second, guys. I can't have that. It winds me up. It actually winds me up. It actually winds me up when they do that. But yeah, so as Potter got the same problems. Potter got the same problems in the fact that we are actually creating more, even though it doesn't feel like it when you look at the last 6 games. But let's be serious. A lot of that must be accumulated in one game with Chelsea, surely, because there's been some games where we just ain't created crap. So I'm trying to think what last 6 games we played, which is interesting. But I don't know, man. I don't know. One thing we have to look at as well is who actually looks like scoring, because for me, it wasn't many people. But that's the issue, isn't it? And it's also the chances that it's falling too, obviously, as well. We're going to talk about the game in a second, but obviously Graham Potter's comments on this whole game as well. He goes on to say, the players have been working really well. Their attitudes have been good as a group, and training has been fantastic. The spirit is there in the team. It's just we need a little bit of luck to carry on the performance level tonight, and we're improving. Look, let's talk about the game quickly, but then we'll go on to the players. We'll do the player ratings, we're opening up the lines, right? Let's quickly talk about the game. Now, I would go far to say that I think we played better in this game than we did at West Ham. I think in the West Ham game, we dominated for about 25 minutes, and then we had no control. We lost the sustainability, and we didn't really create much. In this Dortmund game, same sort of issue in terms of the way we started. 25 to 30 minutes, I'd say Dortmund caused us a lot of problems, right? And it looked like at some points I was saying to myself, we need to change the midfield, we need to change this, we need to do that. It just looked like we were pinned back. We just couldn't have an answer to their style of play, understanding their style of play. But then we started gaining a bit of control from around the 30th minute to the 45th minute. And obviously we had chances in between that. And you look at the chances we had, and obviously we have to talk about João Felix. And when you look at João Felix's opportunities, especially in the first half, I think the first one he should be getting on target. He should never be skying that. Not from that position. Kai Havertz does well to get behind, holds the ball up and lays it off to him, and he puts it over the bar. The second one, the same thing happened again. Kai Havertz runs in behind, he holds the ball up, lays it off to João Felix. Good little bit of skill to get round his player in front of goal and hits the bar. He's leaning back and he hits the bar. And you're sitting there and you're just thinking to yourself, we have to take these chances. In Champions League football, even in the Premier League, but in Champions League football, you can't not take your chances when they come. If you don't, you get punished. That is just always the rule, guys. From football going back to as long as I've been watching it, it's always the rule. If you do not take your chances in front of goal, you will eventually get punished. And that's what happened, right? Because we went into we come out in the second half, and I'd argue again that we had quite a lot of control of the game. They kind of struggled to get hold of us a little bit going forward. And the midfield between Ruben and Enzo, who were struggling together at the beginning, ended up starting to gain some sort of control. So they started winning tackles. They started being able to move the ball quicker, progressing forward. And we started slowly growing in the game. But the sustainability is what I'm trying to get at. Because from 30 minutes all the way to the 90th minute, barring their goal that they scored, Dortmund, I would say that we looked a threat. We did look a threat. In my opinion, from what I saw. The issue is taking the chances. The issue is putting the ball in the back of the net. And we didn't do that. Now, look, the game's not finished. We're going back to the bridge. If we can put anywhere near the same sort of level performance as we did at Dortmund, at the bridge, with the right energy of the fans, I think we can probably get this back. I really do. On top of that, you're going to have Kante back. You're going to have a fitter midfield back. You're hopefully going to have a fitter Reece James, a fitter Ben Chilwell, Wesley Fofana. Right? You're going to have options, right? Going into that second leg. It's about now maintaining fitnesses and getting everyone to the point where they're available. But in terms of the style of play, it's still not 100% there. It's still not like you see glimpses of what we're trying to do, and I think you can't argue that. I think there is moments where you look and you go, right, we are trying to move the ball quicker forward and try and hit him in behind using João Felix in the 10, who, to be honest, João Felix, most of the game, his ability to be able to drive the ball forward and dribble in tight spaces and pass balls behind with, all of that was fine. The problem is all of our biggest chances landed to him, and we can't ignore that because it happened against Fulham. Same thing happened against Fulham where the chances landed to him and he missed them. The chances landed to him yesterday and he missed them. And I told you, look, I ain't got a problem with João Felix. I actually think he's kind of, he's impressing me. He has from what he's done and whatever else. But when you look at the chances we had in that game, you've got to be putting one of them in the back of the net. And that's the rule, guys. I'm sorry. You have to put the ball in the back of the net. And he didn't. He didn't put the ball in the back of the net. Equally, you could argue that why are all the chances landing to João Felix? Why is Havertz not on the end of some of these? Which is a problem in itself, because Kai Havertz being a number 9, you would want him to be on the end of at least a couple of these chances, right? You want him to be on the end of some of these chances. However, this whole thing of like, this is Havertz's fault yesterday is just irrelevant to me. It's just bollocks. So anyone that's saying that yesterday we lost because of Havertz, just don't even bother. Yeah, that's just stupid. Yeah, I get when he can get criticised and he has bad games, but yesterday he was definitely not one of the reasons why we didn't win the game. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you don't take your chances, you don't win, you get punished. And we go into the second half, we dominated the game and we get hit. Now, tactically, where I got a little bit annoyed with Potter was the idea of even having Enzofernandez that far back. Enzofernandez, and as you saw throughout the game and at the end when he had that chance, is a player that you want on the edge of the box. Is a player that you want to receive the ball and take the shots. Yeah? You don't have him 40 yards back, the only player to defend, like we did. And on top of that, we got broken and well. What they did very well, Dortmund, is they cleared it and their quickest player on the pitch luckily got the ball and took it one into the other of the pitch. Now, what Enzo tried to do was hold the ball up. And you could see that in the way that he was backing off. If he goes in and takes him out, he's getting a red card. He would have been available, right? He holds him up. No one manages to get back in time. Mudryk stops his run. I haven't started with Mudryk yet because I thought Mudryk was fucking bang average yesterday. Yeah. Mudryk stopped his run when he's probably the quickest player on the pitch, along with this boy that scored the goal. Stopped the run to help Enzo and is just jogging back. Yeah, and Enzo's left with a chance. And then on top of that, he knocks the ball past Enzo. And then Kepa comes out like he's going to commit to it. And if you watch it again, he half hesitantly goes like that. Like, he doesn't fully go into it. And don't get me wrong, he might have took him out and they might have got a penalty. But he would have got a yellow card. He wouldn't have got sent off, by the way, for that kind of tackle. He just got a yellow card. But he kind of half hesitantly comes out on top of it. And it's just a mess. It's just a mess, and they score. They score on the break. They catch us out sleeping in the corner. And then it was about the response. And then, Matty, bro. What do you disagree with? What do you disagree with? He should never be that far back. Not in my opinion. I didn't even know he was the last man back. I would want him at the edge of the box, bro. Picking the balls up, crossing the balls in and taking shots. So if the header goes out and it lands outside the box, we've got someone that can actually take a shot. Why have we got players at the edge of the box who can't even take shots outside? Maybe Mudryk, but who else? Why would we do that? I don't get that. Tactically, we've got it wrong. But what was funny is then on after, when we had corners, he then put Enzo on the edge of the box and put Reece James at the back, which is what I would have done anyway. Why is Reece James in the box? Why is Reece James in the box? When has Reece James scored a header? I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Well, obviously, Musa. Obviously, mate. You got skinned. You got skinned by the quickest player in the German league to record. What do you want? What is he meant to do? What is he meant to do at that point? I don't get it. It would have been even more funny if that was Jorginho. Because Enzo ain't even that slow. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, man. Anyway, we go on after that period and they score. And we start creating. Right? And we start having chance after chance after chance. One lasts to Ziyech. The other one lands to Koulibaly. Hits it straight at the goalie. Looks like it's rolling in and gets cleared off the line. Even when we just can't score because of our own problems, even the little bits of luck that we need just to get a goal just doesn't go our way. We just don't get it. On top of that, Kai Havertz gets behind Schuler, nudges him off the ball quite well, right? Gets him behind, gets in the box, and gets absolutely clattered. Schuler doesn't even win the ball. Schuler's nowhere near the ball. Watch the replay. He doesn't even touch the ball. He just completely and utterly two legs him from behind. Takes him out, puts him on the floor. We don't even get a pen. They don't even look at it. Look. At the end of the day, it was a penalty. It's just frustrating, right? And the finer margin, and it's true, the finer margins have definitely caught us in this game. It is fine margins. It's a loss, but we're going to the second leg, and I feel like, you know what? If we can see that sustainability going on to Spurs, Southampton, who else we got? Leeds, I think, and someone else, right? Before we even play Dortmund at that point, if we can build up some sustainability now, in the way that we're playing, the chemistry starts getting more and more better, and the players' performances start getting more and more better. Come into that Champions League game, I think we've got a chance. I think we do. I'm not really that worried about. I wasn't really, other than the 25 minutes of Dortmund, they didn't really impress me. They didn't really impress me that much. And it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating that we lost the way we did. I was calling for a winger to come off for a midfielder when Potter realised it was too late. What annoyed me with Potter, which weirdly enough, he took Mudryk off and he puts Mount on, but he puts Mount on the left. And I don't want Mount out there, but equally at the same time, it didn't actually affect too much of the creating side of it this time around. They were very pinned back, Dortmund, at semi-finals. They were just playing counter football. Jude Bellingham was even playing. Was he even on the pitch? You know, like it. Big up to Carlito in the house as well. And then we go on to stats, of players. And then we're going to do the match ratings and we're going to talk about it. But at the end of the day, for me, guys, in terms of what we've seen on the overall game, was it better than West Ham? I was at West Ham, yes. Did we sustain the attacks more than what we did against West Ham? 100% yes. Did we create enough chances to win that game? Yes. Then why didn't we win the game? Fine margins. Got caught on the break and they scored. It is that is literally, sometimes it's not any more than just what it is. It is what it is, you know? And then we've got some couple stats here from Mozo Football. Goes on to say, João Felix completed more successful take-ons than anyone with 4 out of 7, won more duels, 6, and was the most accurate passer of 11. Now, listen, everything about João Felix's game yesterday was great, other than putting the ball in the back of the net. And that's a problem. Because that is the fine margins. We're talking about why we didn't win yesterday's game. Why we didn't win yesterday's game is because we didn't take our chances. And João Felix is one of the people that didn't take his chance. You know, look, come on. Like, we get ourselves in good positions. We created. We were there. And we fucked it. Fucked it in front of goal, And it's just frustrating. But, equally, the argument will be that, the performance was better. Now, Mudryk suffered more fouls free than any other player for Dortmund or Chelsea in the first 45 minutes. Dortmund have planned to keep Mudryk quiet. Listen, Mudryk's not impressed me. Where is that 30-minute odd cameo from Liverpool gone? It's not there. And you could probably say, well, he hasn't played since November. He still needs a bit of time and maybe he's just not 100% there with whatever. Fine. I'm here for that. I'll give him time. But even his touches on the ball too heavy. Decision-making. Some of his decision-making was good yesterday. What I like about him is when he cuts inside and he makes that pass in behind, which then leads to us creating a chance. But yesterday, his overall game did not impress me. And, he struggled. He struggled to sustain it. Use your speed. Get involved. Do you know what I mean? So Kai Havertz created more chances too than any other Chelsea player inside the first 45 minutes. And he goes on with, a bigger stat than that, to be fair. Enzofernandez completed more passes again and more accurate long balls and more touches and more attacking third passes, 10, than any other player in the pitch. It just goes to show how much of a baller this guy is. Baller! He's a baller. And I can't wait until we actually put some proper midfielders next to him. Yeah. This is 3 games. He's had 3 games at Chelsea. And automatically you can see the class of Enzo. The baller that is Enzo Fernandez. The qualities. And he does this every game. He dominates in all of these stats. Doesn't matter who the opposition is. He always leads in them stats. He's a baller, mate. He is an absolute baller. João Felix completed more successful take-ons as well. That's another stat for him where, you could say was good on his side. And then it goes on to say that Kai Havertz created more chances for and also more big chances too than any other players on the pitch for both teams. Kai Havertz created more chances. It makes me laugh. It does make me laugh. It does. He created more chances and more big chances than anyone else on the pitch. Now, the thing with Havertz is he's not a typical number 9. He's not that 9S player where he holds the line and, he's in the box a lot. And he divs around a lot. He floats around, he never and that could be, for me, sometimes it's a problem because I want him to be more focal, but he's not. And that's because he's just not a number 9. And that's why you see him hovering around. But him and Felix are the main 2 that go forward. And there were moments yesterday where they look good together. The chemistry is there with them. 2 chances for Felix created via him. It's just funny, isn't it? He created all of our chances yesterday. You got to laugh, man. You've got to laugh. Havertz is meant to be scoring, not just creating. How many shots did he have? How many? That's a good question. How many shots did he actually have? Other than that header from the corner and that bad touch that he took at the beginning of the game, let's be serious, when he hit it with his heel and he tried to run through on goal and he fucked it. Yeah, I don't think really he did that much. But I keep telling people he can create when he wants to create, but he does need to score more goals. I agree. There's no reason. You know, Shayna, I said when we signed Felix, and I showed everyone the stats on it, everyone, yeah, that he does not score enough goals, Felix. And I ain't got a problem. Like, don't say he's going to come and solve our goal scoring problems. That's what annoys me. He's just not a goal. Like, he's not an out and out goal scorer. He's got everything else that I like about. And you know what? He surprised me because even some of his games impressed me. How he plays the game and that. Yeah, he is. Obviously, he needs to sustain that and whatever else. But he's not a goal scorer. When people were trying to tell me he's a goal scorer, he's not. He's not. Told people this at the beginning. Loftus-Cheek done well in the second half with 3 out of 4 successful tackles as well next to Enzofernandez. Thiago Silva won all of his ground duels against Haller, who is a beast and was, good. Ziyech, yeah, whatever. I mean, that's not even a great stat. And vice versa. It goes on, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into the ratings, guys. Please hit the likes as always. Let's do that. I'm going to open up the lines very soon. I want you guys to get involved, have you say, talk about the game, talk about this, what you thought. We'll get into all of that. We play with 2 10s in a team with lots of 8s and 10s. No, you've got to question the manager. We're always going to question the manager. This is the thing, right? The longer we go on with not winning games, the longer we're just going to keep questioning the manager. That's just normal. Of course, because you need to win games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you do not win games, yes, you can point blame at the players, like, yesterday when it's your turn, but you're still going to blame the manager partly. However, was there progression in how we played yesterday compared to West Ham specifically? Yes, there was. It was more sustained. It was more sustained. We found it hard in the beginning, and we kind of grew in the game, and we got caught on the counter to 1 goal, which couldn't do ultimately nothing about. Even though I think Graham Potter got it wrong in terms of where Enzo was, they should never have been there in my opinion. But it is what it is, and they scored. Other than that, put the ball in the back of the net. It's a different story, guys. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Sometimes it's not just more than that. I talk about style of play and game plan and identity. Yesterday, they were trying, they tried. They continued and they were sustaining it. And they were trying to link up and kick balls over the top and whatever. And, it wasn't 100% pretty. It wasn't like, wow, potable, wow. Look at this. It's amazing. No, it wasn't that. But we made things happen. We tried to do things in the game. Like, that's the difference. No, of course, JP, I agree. I'm one of his biggest critics when it comes to his substitutions, and I am still now. Right. Kepa. What should we rate Kepa, guys? In the chat, get your rates in. Ratings in the chat. Let's go. If we've got enough likes, let's have a look. Well, no, we haven't. 350 people on Chelsea Fan TV, but only 73 likes. What is this? What is this? Come on, guys. How quickly can you get over 100 now? I'm looking at the thumb. That means if no one's hit the thumb, I can see it. 76. And don't get me started on GNA TV. There's over 100 of you there. Why are we not 100 likes? Why are we not 100 likes, guys? If you've not hit the likes now. 84, 89. Come on, Chelsea Fan TV are doing it. Come on. What are GNA TV doing? 52 likes. Come on, guys. Hit the thumb. 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 How quickly can we get these likes up? Over 100 now on Chelsea Fan TV. Well done. Come on, guys. The next step on that is getting to 200 likes. So close the gap on that. GNA TV, come on. We've only got 56 likes. Come on. Get it over. Let's get up to 100 likes as well. Now, we've got 6s. 5, 6, 6. I'm going to give him a 5. I still think he was half hesitant with the goal. However, I thought he made a very good save on one of the shots at the near post. He got down very well. So I'm going to give him a 5.5. 5, 6, whatever is the same thing anyway. I ain't got much to say other than I felt he could have done. More with that goal to a degree in terms of committing to the ball. Let's move on to the defence, shall we? Ben Chilwell. You know what? Had a bit of a sticky period at the beginning, but then he grew in the game, and even he got better in the second half. And he looks, in my opinion, he just looks so much more comfortable and better there. A fit Ben Chilwell is a good thing for us. We need it. Now, we've got to get his fitness up, keep looking after him, keep utilising him. Don't, if he's fit, take him off, put Cook around for 20 minutes, half hour. Don't play him 90 minutes a game. We don't need to. But start him in games. Get his fitness building up so that when we start games where he's effective straight away, like Reece James, and protect him. You know, that's what we should be doing. And I like Ben Chilwell. You know, I do. A little bit pissed off with him at the beginning of the season, but again, I don't think he was fit. So with Ben Chilwell, I'm going to give him a 6.5. 6.5. We've got some 6.5s and 6s. Big up to you, British, as well. Nice to see you, 6. He was at the big first part, but other than that, he was fine. He was fine. 6. Jorginho is sabotaging the ups, to be fair. He is proper sabotaging the ups. 6.5, 6.5. So everyone's giving Ben Chilwell 6.5. Let's move. Now, the one player that got a lot of criticism in yesterday's show because we weren't sure, even I wasn't. Even I said Chalobah and Thiago Silva, you know? But I knew he was going to play Koulibaly. We all knew it. Even I said, I think Potter will play Koulibaly, and he did. And you know what? Hats off to Koulibaly. He had a very good game. He had a very good game. Made the right decisions, blocked the ball well, stopping it getting in the box. Good passing, comfortable. Him and Silva look comfortable next to each other. But we looked solid with them two there yesterday. We looked like we had no issues. And that is the level he should be playing. He's an experienced centre-back. We need to see more of that. And maybe the entrance of Badishile's woke him up. Maybe that's going to give him a bit of a shake. You know, competition's good, guys. Competition is good. I'll be honest with you. I thought Koulibaly was a 7.5. 7.5, yeah. He weren't man of the match, but he was a 7.5. 7. 7.5. 8. 6.5. 7. 7. I think it was 7.5, yeah. It was decent. Come on, man. We gave him a lot of stick. So when he plays well, you know, we've got to give it to him. Played well. You know, he deserves it. 7.5. Now, do you know what? I got so excited when the El Monstro scored that goal. I thought he actually scored it. And even after he went like that, he didn't even celebrate. So he knew it was an accident. You can see when he jumped in the air like that and it hit his arm, it went in. He didn't do that. He went to jump and header it and it's hit his hand. I thought it was a good goal, though, with his hand. It was like, what do you want me to say? Just a baller. He's just too good. How people, I want to say people, but how some, you know, how he's a problem, I don't get it. How, like, taking him out of the team and putting someone else in is the answer. I don't get it. Because he's so good. He's so consistent. He's so consistent. And him and Koulibaly were the balled out yesterday together. And he always balls. He's Silva. He don't drop anything than an 8 for me. He's always an 8. 8. 8. 8.5. 7.5. 8. Mate, he was jumping Halle. This guy, he was getting done in the air by a 40-year-old Silva every time. Kazim, was you watching that, bro? Was you watching the aerial duels? And you kept saying physicality, yeah? You kept saying physicality. Watch the game yesterday. And look how many balls he won in the air, bro. You can't knock this boy. 40 years old. He's still beating people physically off the ball. He reads the game well. Doesn't matter about his speed. You know, it doesn't matter. He reads the game too well, man. Baller. Absolute baller. And it is what it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but I disagree with that one massively, man. I think you have to take a big L on that, bro. A big fat L. Got that wrong. Reece James. Reece James was just Reece James, isn't it? For me, he's a 7. You know, Reece James is Reece James. He done an amazing run in the second half. We took on the old team. Like a steam train. They're trying to hold on to him and just shrugging him off. Shrugs that one off. Shrugs that one off. You know, he gets into the box and bang, gets a free kick. You know, he's just, you know, the quicker we can get him back fit, the quicker we can have a Reece James back fit is so important. You know, and he's getting there. You can see it. You know, you can see it. And he's so important for me. 7. Hands down. A 7 in the game. 7.5 for Josh. 7, 7. 6.5, 7. 7, 7. Yeah, Reece is just a baller, bruv. He's a baller. Right, let's move on. He shouldn't have got a yellow card, by the way. That yellow card was ridiculous. Let's do Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Look. With Ruben, it's a weird one because I thought he struggled with Enzo in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes. He just wasn't picking up the right positions in the midfield. I felt like he was getting caught too wide, which left spaces in the middle. You know, and then Enzo was getting dragged across. And then when Enzo got dragged across, what was behind him was space. And that's where Brandt, if you remember, Julian Brandt, every time kept picking up the ball and there was just loads of room for him to run into. It was like, it was a game plan and it worked. That is the truth. Sometimes you just got to say it as it is. Dortmund's played very well the first 30 minutes. They were good. Like you can't, sometimes you just got to go, it was good. And they were good. And we held on. And we rid the wave. And we got stuck in and we tried. You could see. And we did ride the wave. He got better. He picked him and Enzo, then got a bit more control. They sort of sussed it out a bit. They sussed it out. Or, on what they needed to do. And then they started gaining some sort of control in the midfield. Probably 6.5 for me, or for Ruben. Probably a 6.5 or a 6, probably 6.5. He does a job. He does a job, man. Does a job. Big up to D-Stretch as well. But, he's still not the quality that needs to be next to Enzo. Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me is no more than a squad player. That's it. He shouldn't, he's playing because of the injuries and whatever, but when everyone's fit, he doesn't start in that middle for me. Nowhere near. He's probably third choice. He's definitely third choice for me. All right, let's move on from him and let's go to this guy, the baller. The baller. Look, any fan that is criticising Enzo for that goal is a fool. I'm just going to say that. He's running against the quickest player in the German league. He holds the guy up. He knows he can't go into a challenge because if he does and he commits, it's a red card straight away. He holds him off. He holds him off. He holds him off. He waits for players to try and help to get back, maybe tackle from behind or something. No one comes. He gets beaten on the pace at that moment in time against the quickest player in the German league. Kepa comes out half hesitantly, commits, gets beaten as well, and he taps it in the back of the net. Barring all of that, I thought Enzo Fernandez in the first 20 minutes found it a bit hard. He was a bit everywhere, trying to win balls back. He did. He got stuck in. He does. I love him because he's got that attitude. People don't think he can do it, but he does. And I told people this before we signed him. Even if he hasn't got the ball and he has to work hard and get around and try and help the team, he'll do it. And he does. But, they struggled. And it was purely down to the way Dortmund started in the first 20, 30 minutes. But then he got hold. And he then started progression of passes, progressions to the balls left and right, progressions to balls over the top. He started taking control of that game. And Jude Bellingham disappeared. This whole thing of Jude Bellingham versus Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez was better than Jude Bellingham by a mile. By a mile. I keep telling people, and I got asked this, who would you want, Enzo or Jude Bellingham? Enzo all day. And it's not even because he was Chelsea. Even if he wasn't at Chelsea and he was still at Benfica, I'd say I want Enzo Fernandez. Because he is the specific profile of player that we need. The quality that this boy's shown in 3 games is ridiculous. So good. He's so good. On top of that, he can shoot outside the box. He had one good one. I think Mudryk got in the way and he scuffed it and went wide. And that last chance where he bent it, top corner, and the goalie. Give it to the goalie. The goalie was like Spider-Man yesterday as well. He made some really good saves yesterday. But, he's quality, mate. No, man, he didn't. Jude. No, he didn't. I don't think Jude. I didn't know Jude was playing. Was he playing? Was he playing? Was he even playing? Look, Enzo Fernandez for me is 7.5. He always is. He's just too good, mate. He's quality. Absolute quality. Quality. Above all of our midfielders for me. Hakim Ziyech. I don't really know what to say anymore with him because I don't think he was in bad to the point where he disappeared because he won some free kicks and I just don't like. He done something yesterday. He really annoyed me, right? Really annoyed me. In the first half, he picked the ball up, right, at the halfway line on the break. I think Enzo played the ball in or someone or Felix. He turns. He's got Kai Havertz in front of him with just one defender on him. So Kai Havertz has got his burners on. He's running straight. This guy makes a pass and simple. And he literally had, I think, one player around him that wasn't even pressing him. One simple pass, straight forward. All you have to do is make a straight, nice, nice way he'd pass forward to Havertz to run onto, and he's in on goal. He overpasses the ball and it goes all the way to the goalie. And I'm just like, that is your strength, bro. That is your strength. Like, that is your strength. Yeah, that is your strength, Ziyech. I just like, and again, he does this thing where he cuts in. You know what he's going to do before he does it. He cuts in and he uses his left foot and he swings the ball in. How many times, right, does he swing the ball in and it goes all the way to the goalie? He manages to clear everyone in the box and it goes either all the way to the goalie or it goes all the way out. Like, I don't get it. I don't get him. Like, he wasn't atrocious yesterday. Let me just say that. He wasn't atrocious. But I just don't get him. I don't get him. I don't get him. I don't get him. That is it. I don't get him. I have no more words for that. Other than I don't get him. 5.5? I don't know. I don't know. And then it goes on to the next one that needs to be spoken about. If he's here, where is he? Why is he not in the team? Unless I'm going blind. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Then he goes on to his guy. Starts off quite well. Don't get me wrong. He makes a great run in behind in the first 10 minutes. And João Felix's pass was shit. It was right behind him. Should have passed the ball in front of him. He's running at speed. And he decides to play the ball behind him, which slows him down. And then he loses the ball. So I don't even blame him for that. Because I think João Felix's pass was poor into him. But other than that, he's just so ineffective. He made one real good pass in behind, actually, which was good. And there was a couple of little glimpses, little moments of him. But I need more, Mudryk. I need more from you, bro. Where is that Liverpool cameo? We need that player. We need that direct dribbling ability player that's not scared, that gets involved, that links up play, that, like we need that speed. Sometimes he's half hesitant to make runs behind as well. Get on your burners. Run every time. Run. Get on, just, what I mean? Like, get on the run, bro. Get on the run. Just expected more from Mudryk, I do. I'm going to give him a 4. I don't think he was good yesterday. I was not impressed with him. I just want more from him. I want more from him, and I know he's got it. Maybe he needs a bit of time with fitness. I know he's not played since November. I know he's training. It's his third game when you think about it, but come on, Mudryk. Come on, wake up. Wake up, mate. Maybe it will come with a bit of chemistry and whatever else, but come on. We need more from you, man. Chelsea fans need more from you, especially at Southampton. He needs a goal. You know what it is with Mudryk? I think he needs a goal or he needs an assist. He just needs something. Once that happens, I think you'll see the Mudryk. I think he'll just come alive. But he needs something. He needs to do something, I'd probably go too far to say that João Felix was probably our best player on the pitch. But then what dampens it for me is them chances. Because if he takes them chances, it's a different game. It's a different game, guys. And you can't ignore the chances. You can't. And he had chances created for him. His overall game was good. Dribbling ability, dropping in deep, tight spaces, through balls, speed. He surprised me. I'll be honest with you. He's surprising me, actually, how equipped he is, because I was obviously subjective against him, and I still am to a degree. I am still subjective against him to a degree, but he's impressed me. He's impressing me a lot. He's standing out, and that's the most important thing. He's standing out, and he looks like a player that you want to continuously keep feeding and keep him in that tempo and keep pushing him, keep going, because he's going to make things happen, But he's making good runs. He's finding himself in the position. He's winning free kicks. His dribbling ability was very good. However, he's missing chances. He's missing clear chances. So, you guys can be happy with what you're seeing with him, and that's cool. But when it comes to the realist thing, which is that he's not taking his chances, it dampens it for me a bit. It's the same as Fulham, other than he got a red card. Fulham, he had 3 or 4 chances. All right, but let's go through them real quickly, right? The first one, where it got cut back, by Ziyech. Ziyech cut it back to him and he hit it over the bar. He has no excuse not to get that on target. I'm sorry. He has to get that on target. Even if he don't score, that has to go on target. It goes over the bar, right? Oh, don't. Josh, don't say that. That is waffle. How can you say none of them were clear chances? All right. The first one, all right, was not a massive clear chance, but still one player in front of him and the whole goal. And he got to bend it into the corner, all right? But he didn't. It went over. The second one, Kai Havertz runs in behind, right? He plays the ball into Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz does well. He holds the ball out and he plays the ball into Felix, who does the amazing skill. He puts the defender in front of him on the floor, goes to the left, right? And then he just hits the bar. He hits the bar from like 2 yards out. 2 yards out. Right? And I'm like, fucking hell, man. Honestly, they're the ones he has to score. He has to score that. I'm sorry. He has to score that. As for all of the Felix lovers out there, the ones that big him up as much, yeah, and say he's this, he has to score that. If Kai Havertz does that, you're killing him. If Mason Mount does that, you're killing him. You got it, like it. He had to score that. There's no excuse, in my opinion. Right? He's not chipping the ball. The ball he fell over and kicked it. He leant back and he lifted the ball up and he hits the bar. You know, maybe he loses his balance, all right? But still, he's got to score that. There's no excuse for me. He has to put that in the back of the net. In the second half, right? In the third chance, someone he gets the ball. He gets the ball in the box outside, right? Sorry, in the box. Someone plays the ball across to him. I can't remember if it was Chill or whatever. He gets the ball in the box, right? And he hits the ball directly at the goalie. There's no one around him. There's no defenders. There's this massive gap in the middle and the goal. There's no, the defenders are like this and there's a gap. And then there's the goalie. And he fucking hits it straight at the goalie. Like, come on. Let's not ignore. You can't ignore them chances. You can't. They are the difference to winning and losing. Everything else I was happy with. Everything else I'm like, I've already said. I've got no problem with that. But they are the fine margins. Whether you like it or not, they are the differences in games. They're the differences of winning and losing. And we lost. And he should have took his chance. That's it. That's the way I see it. Other than that, he's an 8. Yeah, other than that, he's a solid 8. Talk to Havertz like this all the time. This is where your brains don't think properly. You just pick what you want to think. I say it all the time with Havertz when he gets in front of goal. And we're going to get to Havertz next. You know what I mean? Like, it fucking winds me up. People do not listen sometimes. They just listen to what they want to pick in and then they just fucking... Oh, mate. Anyway, João Felix missed our best chances yesterday. That is it. Whether you like it or not, he missed the chances. Other than that, his game was very good. What more do you want me to say? I liked his game. He was very good with his ability moving forward. He affected the game well. We looked very good with him in the 10. Everything is good other than in front of goal. And I told you guys that he is not a goal scorer when I was being told he is a goal scorer. So he continues to do that for me. 2 games where he should have scored more goals. He didn't. He had our best chances. And the one at West Ham he scored. Good goal. Want more of it. I want him to be more clinical. This is the standards. And then Kai Havertz. What do you say, really? Other than he created most of our chances the whole game. The most big chances and the most chances created. Kai Havertz. However, his overall game, he done something that pissed me off as well. And annoys me. He seems to be shy from the box at the moment. He should be the one having them chances as well. Not just João Felix, right? Him as well. On top of that, yeah? And on top of that, he does this... I can't even defend this. This is how bad it was. We play the ball into him. And he's making a run, which the run is this way. And all the defenders are that way. And he decides to run into the defenders. I looked at it, the T screen, and I lost it. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, Kai? Where are you going? Why would you run into 3 defenders when you can go that way? Frustrating. That little moment annoyed me with him. He made some good runs in behind. He linked well with João Felix yesterday. However, he needs to be getting more involved in terms of chances. He needs to have more chances in the game. It shouldn't all just be João Felix. He needs to be getting more involved. It seems that like he drifts out. You know, he's drifting away and he's creating, which is fine because he's helping the team get up the pitch and he's creating. Let's not ignore that he's created like he did yesterday. But he needs to be on the end of these. He needs to try and make himself available in the box more. You know? So we wait to see. The João Felix and Kai Havertz chemistry wheel goes on. You know? Will it click into fire? I don't know. I've said it. I don't think Kai Havertz is a number 9. I think that will continue to be the case. That's the problem. But, you know, to say that it was Kai Havertz's fault yesterday that we lost is a lie. It's a big fat lie. You're lying to yourselves. If you're saying that we lost because of Kai Havertz. That's not true. We don't even know this. So then we just, like, this is what annoys me as well. We make up little dream stories. Ashraf, like, oh, if we had Aubameyang, Felix and Aubameyang would be amazing. How do we know? How do we even know? No? So, I don't know. And then, obviously, it goes on to Graham Potter, right? And it goes on to Graham Potter. So, where is he? Oh, we can actually click him. Oh, I can't click him. I can zoom in on him now. We got Super Graham Potter. Look. He set us up fine. It was either going to be Ziyech or Mount in that position. It was either one of the two. We didn't have any other options, so it is what it is there. But in terms of everything else, it was quite predictable, wasn't it? We all knew it was going to be that lineup. So again, he's dropped Mount and Gallagher, which a lot of you guys scream about that you want. He dropped them. You know, we struggled the first 20, and then the boys kicked on and they sustained some bit of pressure, and they played okay. It's not his fault for the goal. I mean, actually, it is to a degree, sorry, because he shouldn't have played. Enzo shouldn't have been the furthest guy back, in my opinion. So maybe, yeah. But it's not his fault that we can't put the ball in the back of the net still. You know, the problem is here is we again, the same problem that we had under Tuchel, the same problem we had under Frank Lampard, the same problem we have under every fucking manager at the moment. We just don't have anyone that can just be clinical in front of the goal when we do create. That's when we do create. And if we're not creating, like if we don't create, it's the opposite. We're never in the middle. You're never in the middle, Chelsea. You either create all these chances and we don't finish them, or you don't create any chances and there's no fucking game plan. There's no style. We don't do fuck all. There's never a middle with us. That's a problem. That is a problem for me. But in terms of what I've seen the last 2 games, the West Ham game and now, yeah, we lost and we drew one. But in terms of the style of play and what we're trying to do and moving forward, I'd say that we're trying to sustain more attacks. Yes, we had in the last game round. It's just whether it can be continued going on into Southampton and whether we can kick forward and keep that same energy, that same creativity, and then put it in the back of the net, right? Because ultimately that's what it is. It's putting the ball in the back of the net. So, you know, as long as this keeps going on for Graham Potter, and he doesn't win games, the harder it's going to get. Matty Case's Potter did his job in this game. Mental how people judging him here. Well, judgment comes because he needs to win games. That's the problem. If he's still not winning games, people were still going to question him. But yesterday, I mean, barring some of the substitutions that he made, which I again won't have with, it didn't really affect the game too much, in my opinion. And obviously the decision to have Enzo that far back as your last man, I just don't get. The guy that takes shots outside the box that you want at the edge of the box when the ball gets headed out is him. To make that decision, I don't agree with that. That was the only 2 things really. But again, tactical minor things that he has to sort out. But I don't know, Couch, what are you saying, my man? This game, we take another loss. I mean, how do you feel? Because some of the fan base I'm still angry with Potter and the way we played. I spoke to some people earlier and they said we didn't play well whatsoever. Some people still feel that. Others feel they saw progression, that they saw sustainability in the terms of the attacking sense, that we tried to make things happen. It was just one of them days. And then you've got Potter as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on all of it, mate?
Okay, well, so first of all, big up, fellas. Heads up. We still got another leg to go. This is only halftime. There's lots to play for still. I saw some positive signs in the attacking intent. I think that Chelsea, what I saw from Potter yesterday was the ability on the counter is there now. We have guys that in transition are dangerous, but still, we need to finish, man. Like, this is just crazy. The amount of opportunities that were created on the counters and the transitions in the final third, and not to take one of those opportunities, not one. Like, for real?
Yeah, it's not good enough.
The amount of money that we spent in attacking talent the last, I don't know how long, last 2 years, to not have somebody that can like put something in the back of the net is just so poor. That's not down to the manager. I don't know how anyone could watch that game yesterday and still have a writ out against like Graham Potter. Like, he coached to me a 4-1. Like, we were in positions for at least 4 goals, and we didn't take any of them. So I don't know what else he can do other than getting on the pitch and scoring himself. And I don't think he's a striker, to be honest. So
yeah, but where the pressure comes, Couch, and this is why the fans are still moaning partly to it, is that the longer he goes not winning games, the more it's him to blame, and that's the problem, right?
Well, how do you blame the manager? Did we blame Tuchel when we didn't win because he put us in position to score goals and we didn't score? Like, I agree. Like, 2 wins in 14 is abysmal. Like, I'm just as angry as everybody else, but in this instance, this game that we just saw, I cannot fault him for that. I thought that we played well in transition. Our build-up phases were actually really good. We created a shit ton of chances. Defensively, we were sound. We're talking about the corner. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Mudryk was the one that was supposed to be marking Adeyemi, and he slipped.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing. It wasn't because they left Enzo back there. It was because Mudryk slipped, and he's the guy that's supposed to be pacey. Sorry?
He shouldn't have been there, in my opinion. I don't think he should have been the
last
player.
Where are you going to put him? In the box to head it home?
No, I would have put him at the end of the box. So when the balls come out, you want him on the edge of the box, knocking the balls back in or taking shots.
Isn't that where he was?
He was at the blimmin' halfway line. Wait.
Oh, I maybe I read that.
He was at the halfway line. He was the last man back. He was our last player. I don't know why we had him there. That's what I'm saying. I don't get that. And then on top of that, what makes it worse?
Though, like, no, you can't really legislate for. You can't really legislate for a slip, though, right?
No, but don't get me wrong, right? Mudryk slips, right, and whatever, right? But straight at the back of that, he makes a switch. So when we have the next corner, Enzo's on the edge of the box, and Reece James is the last man back. But that's the way it should have been in the first place. I don't know why Reece James is in the box. When has Reece James scored a header for Chelsea?
Wasn't he? Didn't he take the cross?
No, João Felix, and it was João Felix.
Oh, all right, okay. Yeah, I can't really explain that.
Just little things, but they're little intricate things that obviously, catch us out, caught us out. But.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that didn't really have a huge impact on me. I really think that we played a decent game. It's just those things, man. Like we're talking about. I mean, I missed I missed a bit of the scores that what you were giving the players and whatnot. I didn't get to hear, but I mean.
Well, I gave Felix man of the match, but what annoyed me with Felix and dampened it was the chances. I'm sorry, I can't.
You got to score, man. You have to score in those positions.
I can't ignore them. And I know Josh is in the chat telling me like, "Oh, they were not big chances." They were, man.
What? Oh my God! When
can I just say, if that was Havertz, people would be murdering him.
Sorry.
Huh?
If that was Havertz, people would be murdering him.
Oh, for sure. Like those opportunities have to be in the back of the net. I don't care. Yeah. Like you're at the top of the 18.
That's facts about Havertz. Because everyone agenda about Havertz and Mason Mount missing chances because those finishes, he's still class. He's still world class. I'm sorry. That goal should be. It should have went in. He should have buried that goal. How he missed that crossbar. Yeah, I just do not know.
And then the one over the bar. It's like, how do you not put that on net? It's
a mess, mate. This is a mess. It's shambles. Potter Potter needs to go. No, I've had enough, man. Potter, his style of play, he's terrible, man. It's the same style, same situation. First half, we do domination, attacking and everything. In the second half, it's the same old story.
I thought we were better in the second half than we were in the first, to be honest.
But yeah, for the first time in every year, we should have... Dortmund, right, is a low league team, yeah, not even a better team. And we should have beaten them. What the hell? Yeah. What, I just don't get how we didn't beat them. It's just it's weird. It's weird.
We didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Wait, guys, let's just quickly go around because it'd be quicker that way rather than everyone jumping in. Go on, Couch. What are you saying? Go on.
Yeah, I mean that was the extent of it for me. I think it's only halftime. I think that we showed a lot of good positive signs.
Yeah.
Man, do we ever need a striker with the amount of money that we paid? And that's the one thing that I'm still questioning now. Okay, because I mean I've been saying this for a while now. Like Ziyech was a fax machine away from like joining PSG, right? And now he's in the Champions League lineup, and we have no strikers. Where's the balance in the squad? We have all wingers. Like we have about 8 wingers in the Champions League roster.
And 10s. That's what we
have. And no striker. Like you telling me right now that Aubameyang, as much as I agree that he hasn't been great this year, he hasn't really been good in the build-up phases. He hasn't been good in, just pressing off the ball, his off-the-ball work. But you give him any one of those chances, especially 4 of those chances like we had today, he puts one of them away. No questions asked. So I'm questioning the decision to leave him out of the roster in favor of Pulisic, who hasn't played at all. Like the chances of him coming back and playing in the Champions League right now doesn't seem likely. Ziyech, who was basically out the door to PSG, now you put him back in the Champions League. You could have just deregistered him and it would have been fine. You need a striker. Like if Kai Havertz goes down, like God forbid, who plays striker? Who do we have for striker?
Well, we've got that trophy Fofana, isn't it?
He can't play. He can't play.
Yeah, we haven't got one. Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear what you're saying. Enzo talks ball. What are you saying?
I think we played all right, I guess. We conceded 1 goal on the counter. Apart from that, I think we were all right. We played better. Played better in the second half as well. There's progress being shown. We should have buried some chances as well. But we still have the second game at the Bridge, so it's not the end of the world.
Of course. It's not game over. Don't get me wrong. I still think I wasn't actually that impressed with Dortmund. I'll be honest with you. I thought they played well for about 20, 25 minutes and they pinned us back. They remind me a bit of. They remind me a bit of the way Liverpool started. The big ground, in your face energy. You're fighting to sort of stay in the game and whatever. And we just couldn't work them out at the beginning. I think both teams had never played each other. You know what I mean? You could see that. And then it was just like trying to understand how they were playing, and they kept catching us. There was a space in between where Brandt was, where he was in between the defense and the midfield, and he just kept finding that space every time. And eventually, we kind of sort of worked it out slightly, and we gained a bit more control after the 30th minute. But we held our own, we held into it, and I don't know, man. It's just we go to the Bridge. I do think though, if we put that same level of performance at the Bridge, yeah, and we actually take and we create like we did, and we take our chances, I think we win. We beat them. I do think we beat them. But Don, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think with Dortmund, literally what you've just said there, they moved the ball quite well. I really enjoyed how they were playing, to be honest. As much as I was watching Chelsea playing, 1-2 touch football, it was good to watch, man, like the first 20, 25 minutes, just to see how they do it, because that's the vision that I have for this team and the players that we've got. I want us to play like that going forward. So it was good to see like how they implement that style of play, because ideally that's how I want us to play going forward, right? But defensively, I think we handled it quite well. Koulibaly really stepped up. I'm glad that he did, because we definitely needed a big game from him.
Yeah,
being one of the senior members. This is what I was saying yesterday. Like, I'd rather him over Chalobah, just because Champions League is different, and the fact that we've got Badiashile now, it's kind of forced him to step up as well. Whereas before, he was one of the starting partnerships to sit next to Silva there. So I think it was really good to see him step up. Should be good for his confidence going forward. That first half in transition, Felix looked really good. It was up and down, weren't it? It was like a game of tennis. Like, as much as they played better than us in the first half an hour, it was quite open.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating to see Felix miss them chances. But that's my main concern with him, is that as much as he's a good player and natural footballer, the finishing just isn't there yet. But I'm not too concerned because he is still quite young and it's only going to improve. But again, it's the Champions League, like I mentioned yesterday. We can't be missing chances like that because fine margins again. We had 8 shots on target to their 2 on target, and we should have definitely beat them the same way we should have beaten West Ham the other day. So I think the first half, it was back and forth, but second half we looked pretty good, man. We looked good. I like what I was seeing. I was seeing some patterns of play here and there, which is what we've been crying for. Potter just can't get any luck. Literally, like the ball just did not want to go in. The goal line clearance from Emre Can, who was defensively sound yesterday, from Koulibaly's shot. Funny enough, I was seeing Cucurella finding himself in the final third, which I haven't seen at all this season, which is a good sign. So yeah, there's definitely some positives to take from it, but yeah, it's just a shame we can't put it in the back of the net. It's expected when you've got Havertz up top. I don't want to get into that whole of going on about Havertz because it's the same conversation every week, every time we speak about him. But yeah, I think yesterday there's definitely some positives to take from the game.
I don't think we can lose Chelsea's 6-6 to Southampton on the weekend. I think I mean, I know they're getting rid of their manager and whatever, and there could be a manager bounce, but we have to start winning games at some point. You can't keep drawing and losing games now. In my opinion, it's getting a bit. Usually, you win like 2 or 3 games, then you lose a game and you draw, and then you go back onto it again. You don't just lose, draw, lose, draw, lose, draw, and still last. I've never seen that. So it's like even though I think he's got a free pass at the end of the onto next season. I just don't know how any manager can continue doing that. So
the thing is, the positive was that they came back out in the second half and they didn't just down tools like they have been. He's clearly said something to them at half time, which has made them, wake up. And it was really good to see Reece James back to being his old self. Yeah. He was really good yesterday, man. He was really good with just the running with the ball.
Free kick where he ran through like 3 or 4. They just couldn't stop him. He was just like
couldn't stop him. And I was like, yeah, man, like that surgery definitely worked because against West Ham he looked a little bit reserved. He kept playing on the inside, whereas yesterday he kept switching it up a little bit. So you can clearly see that they were trying to implement the instructions. And I can't think of anyone that Havertz, Mudryk weren't great, to be honest, but overall we played well. There was more than enough players that did all right yesterday. So it's just the finishing, man. We just need to finish our dinner. We're not doing it at the moment.
I hear you, Matty K. What are you saying?
How are we doing, boys? Big up panel. Pretty good.
Mate? Yeah, all good. Well, as good as we can be anyway, as we continue to lose and draw games. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I feel like I have the same opinion as Couch. Like everything I wanted to say pretty much come out the same. Like I think Potter hasn't been great throughout the whole process, but anybody that's saying Potter was the problem yesterday, for me, that's wrong. I was like, he's done everything that you would have wanted in that game. If you took the scoreline away and showed the stats, the performance, the expected goals, everybody would have expected Chelsea to win that game. You can't put it on the manager if the players aren't taking the chances. And I think that should have been the case. So, I don't know. I'm not saying
the same thing about
Potter's won me over fully.
Problem, but
I get it, but I just don't think you could put... If you're talking about the performance yesterday, it was good. The only thing we didn't do was finish our chances. Like, if you want me... Like, I'll probably sound a bit bad here. I'll be overly critical. I think Felix is a masterclass. I want him coming into the team. I think he's brilliant. I think some of the bits he did yesterday were magic. However, I would expect him to be finishing some of the chances. I think if that was Kai, he'd be getting absolutely blasted. If it was Mount, he'd be getting blasted. I just think if you're gonna have the same, you got to have the same standards across the team. And I think that's just for me.
Hey, sorry, Gawain's just making me laugh with his comments. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I overheard you saying, like, obviously, I see in the team as well. People were saying about people playing in different positions. So Mount shouldn't have gone to the wing, and Enzo shouldn't have been so deep. I mean, apart from that corner, which I agree, he shouldn't have been the last man back. I think tactically it was right. I don't see again what was wrong with that position. If you don't have Enzo sitting deep and you want to further up the pitch, who are you having holding? When you do the sub and you're saying, "Oh, I don't want Mount going out wide," okay, I agree, but who do you bring on? Like, I think it's just a lack of options.
Why don't we just switch formation then if we can't do it? That's what I'm saying. Why don't we just do something different? You know, like Tuchel would do for like a 3-5-2 for the last 20 minutes and put Mount in the hole and play Felix and Havertz more like up front together. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just try something.
I get it, but Tuchel wasn't great at the beginning of the season. I feel like everybody talks about pastime and only talks about our great when we were doing brilliant. But Tuchel wasn't doing great towards the end of his tenure. And it's not like he was getting great performances either. We don't have a striker in the team. I know people. I agree. I think I'm a bit shocked that Aubameyang isn't in the squad. I don't rate him. I never wanted him. I don't think he's the option. I don't think he's the choice. But we don't have a striker. Like, and anybody that keeps saying, "Oh, Havertz needs to get goals," treating him like he is a striker, that's delusional. He's not a striker. We need to get a recognised goal scorer into the team.
Do you think if Sterling was back, he would have scored any of them chances?
He would have made runs in behind, that's for sure.
Would he have scored them chances though in front of goal? That's what I'd ask you.
So I don't know if he would have scored them chances, but I think his runs would have helped create more clear-cut chances.
Exactly. I can't.
So that would be my thought.
I can't put my house on Sterling scoring a 1-on-1, but what I can guarantee is Sterling is going to create space just from the movement. Do you know what I mean? He's not static like Havertz is. He's going to create havoc up top. I don't like Sterling as a 9, but when you're trying to create a bit more space and runs in behind from midfield, right? Sterling is that guy. So
yeah, but I'm
not going to put my house on Sterling finishing those chances.
Hold on. Even beyond the whole finishing and putting in the back of the net, there's other aspects of the game as to why Havertz is playing. He's very good from set pieces in terms of like clearances, like defensive headers and whatnot, like the way Drogba used to do. He was very good at holding up the ball yesterday. Like nobody's really paying a lot of attention to that. I thought he was very good in hold up. And
Havertz weren't bad yesterday. He was not bad.
He wasn't bad. I mean, he should have scored, but
yeah.
So I just want to clarify. I didn't think Havertz had a horrible game. I just think we were missing things that a natural number 9 would bring. And what I mean by that is like there was a great opportunity where Mudryk put through Chilwell, where he went beyond the last defender down the left-hand side. If you looked at that position, any other team that had a natural striker would have had that striker in that box waiting for the ball to come across. We had nobody else in the box. There was nobody getting in them positions. So I feel like we had a lack of options.
You know what though? The funniest thing is, and I keep saying, it just makes me laugh because it surprised me. Kai Havertz created the most big chances and the most created chances out of both teams. Like he was the creator yesterday, apparently, according to stats, the whole game. He started 3 big chances,
but he was playing in a position where he's not meant to be creating; he's meant to be finishing, and that sounds judgmental. But it's
no, I agree. That's what I said as well. Yeah. But it's just funny because I see lots of people in the chat that just hate him to the point where even if he does something good, they will just say he's bad. Like it's just funny anyway. But
while we're talking about bad stuff though, Jem, what are you doing giving Ruben Loftus-Cheek a poor rating? I thought he had a great game yesterday.
Wow. What did you rate him?
So I didn't think he was exceptional, but I didn't think he was that poor either. I would have gave him about.
He was good. He was good yesterday, mate. You're right. Loftus-Cheek yesterday, man, was incredible. I thought.
So what did you give him, Jen? A 6?
But
he was a 7 yesterday, easy.
I'll give him a 7.2. I'll give him a 7.2.
7.2.
The first 25 minutes, him and Enzo struggled, and part of the reason why they struggled, and I'll tell you why, was because Ruben was getting attracted to going on to the wings to obviously help reach, and he was pulling that way. So what ended up happening is because Enzo then got dragged across, and every time Enzo got dragged across, there was a massive space behind. Why? Because Mudryk don't like defending. All right, so Brandt is just finding these pockets of spaces in behind them every time because of and it was a good plan by Dortmund. It kind of opened because they outnumbered us in the midfield for the first 25 minutes. People noticed we were very outnumbered in the midfield completely, right? They were using that to their advantage by playing the ball into the wings, dragging out one of our midfielders wide, knowing that the other one was then going to have to cover that position. And then it was leaving pockets of spaces in behind Enzo or whoever just for them to then hit us on the breaks. And that's what kept happening for the first 25 minutes, you know? And it was just tactically good. It wasn't that they were bad. It's just that we were just getting caught, you know, in that. And I think they kind of And that's why I said that. I said myself, they grew into it. They kind of worked it out a bit, where they started winning tackles sooner, not losing their position, holding the position and winning the tackles in the positions that they're meant to be in, which then allowed us to then move the ball forward quicker into João Felix and whoever else, you know. So it definitely got better. But Alhambra says with a super chat, key to winning titles is having a manager that ensures a loss is only a blip and not a meltdown. Just remember, we had a good start under Potter, then came Brighton disaster, then came the meltdown. That's what he says.
But people need to remember as well, when Potter started going downhill, it's because of the injuries.
You just quickly have to say you can't give Ruben Loftus-Cheek a poor rating when you look at that stat line. Like he was good. He was very good in the 6th yesterday, I thought.
He's like, when they're all fit, I don't put him in the team before others, in my opinion, still. Like, but that, like, I wouldn't put him in front of Zakaria. I wouldn't put him in front of Kovacic in that role, in my opinion. But
sure,
you know,
but you can't deny that he played well yesterday. Like,
yeah, this is the thing. People expect too much from him. Like, Ruben's not gonna get better than what we've seen of him at Chelsea. He's just a squad player. Like, he comes in and does a job. Do you know what I mean? That's it. So people expecting too much from the guy. Like, he's not gonna be that player that you expect him to be. But what he's gonna do is come in and do a job like he did yesterday. But yeah, when Zakaria and Cover are back, he will be back on the bench.
Let's go to Kante's coming back, and Kante's coming back. So
let's go to Uzi. Uzi, what are you saying?
What's up, boys? Yes, I hear all of you. I'm like devoid of confidence at this point. I'm wondering if are we even ready to like give Chelsea? I don't even know if it should be Potter. Like I'm looking at yesterday's game. I watched the Man City Arsenal game was before hours, like 30 minutes before. And if I look at their intensity, like we lost a game against Dortmund that was like Dortmund were better than us, and they weren't even good. Like by normal Chelsea standards, like that wasn't good. Like no one at Chelsea should be getting a 6, like above a 6. Like everyone was better than the next person. It's like we can say Loftus-Cheek was better than Havertz, so that makes him. But I think the average of the team was like poor. I didn't see the old Reece, and he's just coming back. I'm not seeing like any pushback from like Potter. We're not seeing Potter's identity. So if we have to give him time, then it means every week we actually don't have to complain. Then it means we should at the very least give him a season, like next season, where, because I don't even think he's missing that many players. Like realistically, we're saying he's maybe missing like a Sterling, who he's also not consistent. So he might have not even been, he might have not started yesterday's game. He's maybe missing in the striker position. Havertz is the striker. Like we can't keep saying Havertz is not a striker. This is not his first season up top. He is. That's just where he's been playing. So if we're gonna say he's not a striker, then he shouldn't be starting. Like then might as well play a false nine. Do a Man City. Don't have a striker. And we look like across the board. Chilwell, he was also. You could tell that he just came back. Like there's just no. I heard something from like Reece where he says, okay, people are expecting the new guys to just gel with the team. It's not that easy. So I think either we now as fans need to have that mindset where it's like, okay, I suppose we bought quality players. So that's why in spells Felix looks good, because we didn't buy players that need Potter to like transform them to good players. These players are good. So individually, they'll do brilliant things here and there. But like as a team, I don't know what our play is. It's not, I don't know if we play from the back or we play long balls like Ziyech crosses. On the left, Mudryk dribbles. In the middle, Enzo is quick with his passes, but Ruben, he like holds up the ball. It's just too many plays to where we don't have, as Chelsea, we don't have an identity. So it's like we're losing games. Like West Ham, we should have won, but we didn't. So yes, maybe not Potter. They should have finished the chances, but that's a pattern now. It's starting to be like this game. Yes, Fulham, we should have won. Yeah. If this VAR decision went our way, it's like becoming a pattern where we should have won. We should have won. We should have won. At some point, you have to like look to the coach, and even as fans, we like so split.
If we would have said this last year under Tuchel, everyone would have been saying, "Well, it's not Tuchel's fault; it's the players, right?"
Yeah.
You know what it is, Crouch?
100%.
You know,
Finish.
I agree with you that it's not him per se. Like he can't put the ball in the back of the net. I'm just saying the fact that we're so split, like you can even see like with the whole Mount debate, like where we've got like fans split. With Tuchel, what he was good at is that when we lose, he assumes the blame. Like we know exactly how he feels. We don't have any communication from Potter. We don't know if he's always happy with the boys. He finds positives in every game, but we've only won 2 games in the last 14. So how has he not said anything? Like we as fans are now coaching because we're not getting anything from him. So we don't know if is he shouting at the boys. We have this whole thing where we like second half, the boys come back weaker than they were in the first half. We don't know if Potter is actually giving. The players are all good. Like these are all 50 million plus players. So by default, they're all good. And we just don't know if Potter is like another Golashasha where he's like he just gives them go on boys, go play. Like eventually Chelsea are gonna win just off individual brilliance alone. But do we have a coach or not? Because communication wise, Potter finds.
Do you not think a coach needs times to like develop partnerships on the pitch? Like just the last game, for instance, we had Chilwell come back, we had Reece James come back, who haven't played like for a long time, so they haven't played with like the Mudryk and then we've got Enzo who's brand new in the team, Mudryk who's brand new in the team. I think you have to judge coaching on partnerships on the pitch, patterns of play, and are they improving? And I think for the short amount of time that they've been in the team, you can see they are getting better.
That's what I'm saying. I think otherwise because now it's like every week we then try and find, like now Mount has been benched, so now everyone that's been saying Mount is the problem, that excuse is now gone. So now we have to find the next person. But if we then all agree that okay, we need to give Potter a chance, like we need to give him a longer spell than what we would have given the quick turnaround managers. Like now we're saying he's going to build a team that's going to last us generations. Then I suppose then we'd stop complaining because then we'd know, okay, it looks bad, but we're improving. Like currently we're all kind of like happy that it looks better, but we're not like, if we, it looks like it is getting better, but not quick enough for all of us. Like we're still taking the risk.
It's not going to be quick.
It's never going to go like that, though. This is what people know, and I've been telling people to be ready for this for a very long time. I'm not saying that we should be losing and drawing games every week. That's not right. I get that, but in terms of like the development and the transition on the pitch and this, that, and the amount of areas that we all agreed on in the summer and said, you know what, we actually need to completely, you need to tip the bag upside down here. Like we need to literally go through the whole squad here. Like if people are not deep in like how much we've actually had to do and how quick the transition in terms of what the owners have done, because what the owners have done in January is never going to happen again in terms of how much money they spent on positions and bringing players in and things like that in between a season as well. This ain't summer. This is in between the season. So no preseason trainings, nothing. This is you're coming in and you're starting. And that's what we've done with the Mudryks. That's what we've done with the Enzos. That's what we're doing with Madueke, Badashile, right? These are players that are just coming in from January with no preseason into a Chelsea team and just having to kick on with it. These things are going to take, like, it was never going to be like that, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to give these things time.
Yeah, I think the spending actually got to our heads. Like we followed the media. Like it's the same as when Havertz and the Werners came in immediately before the preseason, before seeing anything. We were like, oh, we're definitely challenging for the title. Jan, we spent so much where we actually were accepting this in December, and then we spent so much in Jan that we now thought, like the media started pushing this thing. Oh, they're definitely getting the Champions League, and then we fall victim to all these things. So now it's hard to give them time when in the back of your mind you think you're getting some kind of trophy. Now you won't get a trophy if you're losing. So now we try and find like the places where it's actually going wrong. Like we don't have a striker.
I'm sorry, but I disagree with the premise of that. Like nobody with right sense should have seen that. We should have believed that we were going to win the league this season. Like, yeah, we signed some big names, but we were miles off it last season. So to think that Koulibaly, Cucurella, Sterling is going to close a 25-point gap, that's not.
No, Champions League. The narrative now was Champions League, not even the league. They just said, oh, they're definitely going on one of those runs in the Champions League. They've now filled all.
Fans and media putting pressure on us. That we shouldn't still go and believe that just because rival fans are saying that. Of course they want to put pressure on us, but why should we believe that? When the consensus around the
Could I just say that I don't think it's just rival fans. I think it's Chelsea fans as well.
That's what I'm saying. We
Those fans are
fell
being
victim to it.
unrealistic.
We should have known
But those
better.
fans are being unrealistic, though. That's my point. If you're being unrealistic, then why should that pressure be put on the players? And we know that there's still a lot of pieces missing for us to be a top team. So we shouldn't put unrealistic pressure on these players if we know a lot of them aren't good enough.
Yeah, let's quickly jump on some other people because I haven't got bundles of time today, unfortunately. Callie, what you saying? Callie,
What's up, everybody? Give me like 2 seconds. One moment.
all right, then let's go to Bobby. Bobby, what you saying?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. What you saying?
All right. I haven't really got too much to add other than what you lot have put in. Other than if I'm talking about just based on yesterday's game, and I go on Twitter and whatnot, and I see people going at Graham Potter. I don't think Graham Potter could have done much else for yesterday's game, if I'm honest. Yesterday's game for me literally boils down to if Felix takes them 2 chances, we win the game comfortably. But based on Potter in general, like it's going to sound like I'm making up 1,000,001 excuses for the guy because I'm not just backing him blindly. But you look at the list of things since that man's come into this football club, the amount of things he's had to deal with, injuries, the World Cup break. Even now, we've spent some money on some really, really good players that you can already see. They're the ones that are making us play better, in my opinion. Your Enzos, your Badia Shields. But you can already see that given time and the right players next to these players that I can see the last 2-3 weeks against West Ham and last night, you can see that we are starting to play better football. And I think it is going to take time. It is going to take patience from Chelsea fans, something Chelsea fans aren't used to, especially during the Roman Abramovich era, because if we was in this run, he would have just got the next man in. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, I ain't really got much to say, Jim.
There isn't much to say.
That's what I'm saying. There's not much else to say about yesterday's game.
Not really. I mean, what's your thoughts going into Southampton? Do you think we're? Yeah, go on.
If we don't beat Southampton, then I don't know what to say because have they got another manager in yet or not? I see they were trying to appoint Jesse March.
They were, but they haven't appointed him yet, so they could be managerless as well.
No, that's been collapsed. It's been collapsed down.
If we don't go and beat Southampton, then I'll give up.
He ain't going to Southampton now. It's been all collapsed down. Apparently the agreement was collapsed.
Well, go on, Chelsea. Dan, what you got to say, mate? Go on. What do you want to say as well? Go on.
The thing is, Jem, we could always make an excuse about Potter everyone wants Potter out, yeah? We've had people, rivals, and saying that it was fluke that we won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel that year.
Yeah. And
everyone's still going on about Thomas Tuchel. I always tell people, God's sake, move on. It's the history now. We ain't got Thomas Tuchel no more. So why are you keeping bringing up Thomas Tuchel? Move on. We've got Potter. Yes, we could say he's had injuries. We've had injuries since he came in, and we've had the likes of not our first team out. But there's no changes in Potter, and I've give this guy. Yeah, I've never been a Potter in. I've never been a Potter out. I've been Potter spy kid on him. Just giving this guy the chance. So many chances every single time. He's made so many changes in Chelsea, yeah, since we've got new players and when we didn't have new players, yeah. It's over 52 changes in formations. He's changed the formation in different kind of ways where players could settle. How many chances can we have to change the formation at Chelsea Football Club? This guy's on a 30.1 win percent than any other history manager in the Premier League.
Holy shit.
Is bad. That is the baddest record in thing. That's a relegation Premier League thing. I heard Joe Cole and Sam Clark on TalkSport on the radio today about Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, they're getting all these things. They're seeing there's good chances going on, right? There's people slating all other players, yeah, to the downhill grave at the Chelsea fan base, and it's accelerating and it's a joke. But this Chelsea ain't gonna be the same till next summer. But they said about Potter, even Jacob Sola said give Potter time. When are we gonna give this guy a time? What happens if he does it next summer?
What happens if he don't?
In the pre-season?
Then he's going to get sacked. That's what's going to happen.
I don't think, honestly, true. I don't think Todd Bowley will sack him. He's signed a 5-year contract.
Of course he's going to sack him. If he gets a striker on a CDM, and he continues to perform like this, he will be sacked.
The thing is, Dan,
Even without the striker or CDM, if he performs like this, he's getting sacked. Let's stop the excuses.
Todd Bowley likes a yes man. Todd Bowley likes a yes man.
That's nonsense.
This guy is a yes man.
What good does having a yes man in the manager chair do for you? What does that
Exactly.
Guys, quick question.
He's from Minerals Echo Chamber. Just ignore
it. Wait, boys, yeah, we all love Chelsea and we all fed up with what's going with the result. If Todd Bowley doesn't sack Potter next summer and he does the same thing next summer,
you think Todd Bowley's going to come in and spend all this money and then just allow this to keep happening? He's not stupid. He's giving the man.
Why don't if we lose the Southampton game, then we got Tottenham next, and if that doesn't change,
but can I just say, Frank, real quickly, we're actually we're just assuming again. We don't know what these owners are going to do we? We don't. We don't. So, you know, whether you think he's that
I never thought they'd sack Tuchel.
Yeah, I mean, it's irrelevant at the moment. We need to win games. We can't continue losing and drawing games. I agree with that. We won't last long in that way. I agree. I would expect the owners to react at some point, especially. But no, at this moment in time, this is just all assumptions, man. Like it's not even worth with the owners.
But Jem, the thing is,
let's talk about yesterday. Let's talk about yesterday. I don't get why you're over criticizing Potter like this.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, we got Dacho Fofana, where you can see the moments how this guy, as a striker at Chelsea, could score goals. Yeah, what he did against Fulham, right? But
he didn't score against Fulham.
Well, no, he really scored against Fulham, but he didn't, though. But this guy could probably score goals. He's a beast. You saw him against Man City when he put Cancelo on the floor in the FA Cup when he had 10 minutes of the game. This guy has potentially could score goals.
Maybe he plays against Southampton. Maybe he plays against Southampton because I'm thinking Kai Havertz can't keep playing every game up front.
He can't.
Eventually, you're going to have to change something. So I think it might be Southampton that you see a Dacho Fofana.
Dan, can you agree though that yesterday we found ourselves in a lot more attacking positions where we could have scored? Can you agree with that at least?
Yeah, no, Don, I am actually agreeing to what you lot said because yes, we did have this is the first time I've actually seen us do something in 12 games where the first half we were attacked, and second half against West Ham. The second half we was shambles. In the second half, I said to the guys at the watch long,
shambles in the second half.
We was going to be all over us, yeah. But we weren't shambles in the second half against Dortmund.
I thought you meant yesterday.
Okay. No, I'm talking about West Ham, mate. Yeah, West Ham game. Yeah, the second half in West Ham. Yeah, I said West Ham's going to be all over us in the second half. It's going to be nothing different, and they did. They was all over us. This game yesterday, right? It actually shocked me. They actually They showed the fighting spirit, right, in the second half. I don't know where that's come from because I thought the second half. I'll
tell you where that comes from.
But the thing is, this could be the way it goes on, yeah. But I hear Couch here saying about Kai Havertz in the Champions League. We ain't got a striker in the Champions League if Kai Havertz get injured. We also got Joe Felix.
Not a striker.
Who can play up front.
I mean, I think he showed yesterday that he's not really a striker.
He's not a goal scorer, man, that guy. I'm telling you.
Who do we play in that 10? Who do we play in that 10 if we play Felix?
Don't get me started on what I said about Joe Felix in front of the goal, right?
Who do we play at number 10 if Kai Havertz gets
we can't move Felix.
There's Mason Mount. Why don't we give Connor?
No. Can I just say, if you move Felix up, all you're doing is moving Havertz down, and then you've got the same partnership that we had anyway.
And you're taking away Felix's best abilities.
If we ain't got it, we might as well try and play Reece James or something up front. He'll probably bang goals. You know what I mean? Fuck it. You know?
Where is Alonso when you need him, man? Jeez.
Right, let's go on because I need to get through some people. Callie, what are you saying? Go on, mate, if you're there.
Man, fucking. Look, I'm not even. Once again, there's no balance in these damn opinions. The reality is, Potter's gonna take blame because we're 2-14. That's just the reality of it. Is it Potter's fault for yesterday? No. I can nitpick and I can point out mistakes that Potter made, i.e., someone brought out who we have sitting during corners, our set piece setup, all of those things. I can also bring up the fact that we're actually creating for once in our goddamn lives again. And as a result of us creating more, our midfield was open like a stripper in transition. That would go down to the manager, but no one wants to address that either. But look, let's be real here. The players, hold on.
I agree on you on that, pal. I agree on you on that one. What you just said.
What did you say, Callie? 1 second. What did you just say then? I need to hear that again. Say that again to me.
Which part?
Where you just said you wanted to criticize. What was you? What part?
I was talking about our setups during set pieces, corners, and the fact that even though we were creating more based on how Potter tactically set us up, we were also open in transition in the midfield, and that's a fact. That's how they scored the goal.
Yeah.
So I want to be bluntly honest here because I don't want people to think I'm just going at Potter blindly. Felix should have put 2 of those goals in the back of the net. That game should have ended 3-1 like I predicted. But like Forward told me, and I'm actually sick to my stomach because I'm thinking about the second leg. I'm thinking about Southampton. Who's going to score our goals, people? Who's going to score our goals? And this is the reality of the situation. Like, let's stop, beating around the bush and like let's get serious here. If Potter goes 2 of 16 in our next 2 games in the league, I don't think people deep it. Like, it's getting bad. It's going to get to that point where you can't back him. And I'm not saying this just to be on the crazy Potter out train. I'm being serious. What Chelsea manager, let's be hypothetical because it's looking this way. What Chelsea manager can go 2 for 20?
None.
Are we serious?
Can I ask you a question? Just hypothetical.
Go.
Say Potter goes, and I agree. I think that record is bad, and if Potter went with that, I'd be like, I could understand it. But you bring in any other manager, the problem remains the same. Who scores you goals?
No. I want to
because we're creating opportunities, they're not finishing them.
If we bring Lewis in Enrique or
no. Let me answer.
Dan, we could put he could do a better job than Potter.
But who's scoring the goals?
Hold on.
Who's scoring the goals? Because the argument is we're creating lots of chances. It's not the manager's fault.
Fofana, that Bo just been out the whole season, right? The guy don't get played. You can see the moments where he goes in. And now we've got a team, who can play. Aubameyang, if Aubameyang got in there, at least we've got a team that and Enzofernandez could create the chances for Aubameyang now, and he will score the goals. But Potter doesn't want to play that trophy final.
But Aubameyang hasn't been scoring. He's had chances. He didn't score.
There's going to be no one. Let's go,
guys. Let's go back to Callie quickly because I need to finish off. Go on, Callie. What you saying?
Yeah, I feel you, John. That's why I'm trying to hurry up. Look, to keep it short, everybody's just. I've never seen the fan base so fucking split, man. It's actually making me sick. I mean, like, I'm not even bringing up Tuchel for this fact, but fucking hell, we were united, people. We were actually united. And I don't mean the club. I mean, we were together. Fans, players, manager, club, ownership. Now we're all fractured. Some people are going at Pulisic in the chat. Some people are still going at Pulisic in the chat. Pulisic has not played 5 fucking games.
We were not united at all.
I agree with that. I said that earlier. I've never felt.
Look, I'm on real quick, Jem. I'm on Potter. Fix the fuck up. Potter, fix the fuck up. You literally have 5 games to fix the fuck up. That's the reality. If people want to be honest about it, let's be honest about it. He has 5 games to fix the fuck up, and I don't mean he has to win every single game. He has to show something.
I think
you can't keep losing.
He has in the last 2 games.
No. But listen, this is the difference. You can show something, but you have to stop the bleeding. You can't show something over the next 10 games and lose all 10. You won't make it.
This is another thing.
Okay, so if he doesn't do all 5 games,
one second. Well, now we're going to keep
jumping in. He has to go, Kelly. He has to go. If we lose to Southampton or Tottenham and don't win these 5 games, Jem, I'm honest the truth, mate, because it's time to realise and show the bigger picture. If we don't turn it around in the last couple of games, he has to go.
Listen,
Kelly's right, man.
Yes, and we know this. I've had this discussion many times. I've had Potter debates and everything about Potter for the last blooming week. I'm fed up of talking about Potter. I want to talk about something else. About this game.
Sorry, Jem, but I'm just so frustrated with my football club.
You know what it is, Jem? I just find it so weird how, like, as a fan base, right, we're all Chelsea fans, so we all watch Chelsea week in, week out. A lot of these guys that are screaming Potter out, especially today, you're moving like these rival fans that don't watch us, don't look at anything that's happened during the game and just scream, Potter, look at this, you spent 600 million, how are you not getting any wins? Watch the game and look at what's happening in front of you. We cannot
100%.
finish. No one's saving these guys that can't finish.
But that's the
Not that.
trouble for us
You
next
know what it
season.
is? I don't think these people were ready for when I said back in the summer that things are going to get hard at Chelsea.
Long season, Jem.
I don't think we're going to get this bad,
Jem,
like, to the point where we're not winning games. Don't get me
silence?
wrong,
So
but guys,
Bobby, right?
Yeah.
Dan.
Right, give me a quick one more, Jem, please. Yeah.
Come on, quickly,
Bobby,
quickly.
you're talking about us not finishing. Where the fuck was Potter when Mason Mount and all the Dortmund fans were fighting? If that was Tuchel, he would have got involved.
Mate, that's a load of rubbish.
That's just boring. That's just boring.
Where was he?
cares?
What does that
Wait, Dan, hold on.
Bullshit.
Where was he?
Hold
Where
on.
was he?
Hold on, Dan. Hold on.
What do you want him to do? Start swinging arms at Dortmund?
No, hold on. I have a direct response to Dan. I'm going to put to you something that even I criticized Tuchel for, and I have yet to see a manager solve this problem. It's actually been 3 managers, possibly 4 counting. Why can't our attackers finish? You guys blamed Tuchel and told me Potter was going to make this shit better. Potter has not improved it one bit.
100%.
Why can't our attackers finish? Why can't a manager teach his attackers to finish?
On, they just can't put it in the back of the net.
But does it not worry you for next season? I know it's a long way off.
Bro, you sack Potter, I'm still worried these players can't finish. I think we need to address that as well.
Agreed.
The truth is, let's just cut it short. We need a striker, for fuck's sake.
But are we going to bring one in, Jem?
Striker for a while, but
we're bringing in Kunku.
Is it just me that thinks we'll beat Southampton, but it will be like Chilwell and James that will get the goals?
Bro, you're on Copian right now.
Let's see what Forward's got to say. Forward, come mate. What you got to say?
Listen, I'm conscious of time because I even got to get back to work as well. But and obviously we've been there an hour and 50 minutes. Like I could run for like a good 30 minutes straight, just based on the things that I've watched.
You jinxed me, Forward.
The last couple hours, bro. I know, bro, but listen, I've listened and heard so much over the last day that I just completely disagree with, and it's very frustrating to listen to. And I get it, right? Like performances like yesterday, bar losing 7-0, performances and games like yesterday are the most gut-wrenching, annoying, frustrating defeats you can have because we should have won the game. It's a big game. We performed relatively well, a lot better than what we have done in recent games, and we still came away with nothing. In fact, we lost. We didn't draw like we've been having recently. We lost. So I wrote, because again, I have to write these points down so I can make sure that I get through these concisely. So let me just get through the top, right? So the top is Potter, because everybody wants to talk about Potter. Everybody wants to shout about Potter, blame Potter, 2-16, like all this noise, right? And like, I get it. If you don't believe in Potter, I get it. Like, maybe you've not seen enough. Cool. You want to see more? I get that point. And if your concern is that maybe he's going to be like our David Moyes, when you look at Man United, who are like a manager who's done well at a lower level, they step up to a higher level and like they freeze or they're maybe not able to get their ideas across as well. I get it. If you're concerned, cool. But these things need time. I get it. Games like yesterday are frustrating. They get your blood boiling, but just relax and analyze what's going on. Because for me, again, we are seeing progress. It's not perfect by no means. You can still criticize Potter on certain things like Cali was bringing up with how we set up for our offensive corners and set pieces, because it wasn't just a goal that we conceded a counter attack. It was a free kick later where we still had 2 men back and we only just about managed to see out the danger. I think it was actually Thiago Silva that made a late challenge on somebody. So again, that is an issue. You can also criticize the fact that Potter's squad selection, not with a lineup, but the fact that we have only one recognised striker fit, and you decided to leave him out of our Champions League squad. Yet you've got players like Pulisic who's out for time, and you've left him in the squad. You've also got Ziyech who went out of the door, and you've left him in the squad. Like, so things like that, 100% you can criticize Potter objectively. However, yesterday he done a lot more things right than wrong. He set up the team in a good enough position to go and win that game. Yes, even during the game, I was questioning some of his subs. Maybe you could have put them on earlier. I thought, would you really want to leave Ziyech to play 90 minutes? Are you really going to leave Ruben to play 90 minutes? But those guys done enough. Those guys done enough in that game to win us the game. Again, first half, I thought we played good. It was pretty even, but we had the better chances. Second half, again, and I was so concerned going into the second half because we've had so many poor second halves. Guys, we've seen so many poor second halves in the recent times. And yet we absolutely dominated Dortmund. That was by far our best second half of the season. Again, I watched the game back as well this morning, so I watched it with clarity, and I can see we've done a lot of really good things there. And unfortunately, the players just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. But with Potter, again, I'm saying give him time. I get what Kali's saying. Like, if we go 2-20, that's a massive problem. And I think for now, we are seeing progress. We are seeing the players there. So like now, the performances need to also improve. And we're playing the likes of Southampton, Tottenham, and Leeds before we play Dortmund again. So we need to start seeing us score goals in those games, 100%. And Potter, I feel like, needs to get results in those games, and I believe we will. My second point I want to get to, João Felix. I'll be short on this one. If he scores those 2 goals, that is a 10 out of 10 masterclass performance. Again, Jim, I get your point, right? Like 100%, I have to like criticize him. He got man of the match. Like for me, man of the match clearly. But of course, we have to put a lot of criticism on him for missing those chances. But when people are saying that, oh, he missed those chances, what if it was Havertz? What if it was Mount? We've seen Havertz and Mount the last 2-3 years, and I don't remember many performances, if any, as good as Felix yesterday. And Felix has only been here 2 minutes. Like when they miss big chances, and they have mediocre games. Felix not just is missing big chances, but he's creating these chances. Again, guys, go back and watch it. Go back and watch it on BT Sport or wherever your channel provider is. Go back and watch the highlights. Felix is involved in the build-up for these chances. He's skipping past players, playing it wide. Ziyech cuts it back to him, and the shot absolutely has to go in that first one. The second one for me is even a bigger miss, but he's actually creating these chances as well. He's the one who put the free ball into Havertz, who then linked it back to him. And then I don't know why he's lifting it from that close, and he just needs to poke it near post. But again, 2 horrible finishes from a guy that I've said is a quality player, but isn't a great finisher. Of course, you just have to understand the profile of players that we have. Then I'll come on to Havertz, and listen, I don't want to speak too much on this guy. It's like, I'll be honest, Jem, like the whole he created bare chances thing, that's too gazy. Let's be honest. The link up with Felix for Felix's second chance, like that was cool from Havertz, I get it. But other than that, like how many of those chances that he created were like quality? Like I feel like for me,
he created 3 big chances in the game, more than any other.
He was the highest creator.
But tell me, guys, how many of those were actually like quality? Like he done something amazing to create those chances.
Did you not see like you're talking about Felix? What's the highlights of the game of Felix? Yeah, I've watched the highlights 3 or 4 times on BT Sports with the Dortmund game when from a counter attack, and I saw Havertz did a lot about 3 to 5 assists in the game where none of our teams could finish it. And when the ball was put
a bad game for Havertz is Havertz actually not doing anything. Yesterday Havertz created, and we still
created more chances.
So let me run
forward. The word's inefficient. The word's inefficient. You're looking for.
With Kai Havertz, if he just does not score, it's irrelevant to people. That's all I'm saying, because that's the way it feels with Kai Havertz. I'm not saying that he had the greatest game yesterday. I don't think he did. I certainly don't think we lost the game because of him yesterday.
I'm not saying we are either. But my point with Havertz, right, is that again, those chances that he's created, I don't think they're like amazing. Like it's amazing skill from him or amazing vision from him to create those chances. The one for Felix for his second chance, okay, that was really good hold up play, and he played it back to him. That was great. But a lot of times when he's dribbling into cul-de-sacs and giving the ball away, he's having poor touches. And again, he had one big chance which was just before we conceded our goal, the header. And he missed a header from 5 yards out. It was a poor header. That actually ends up going to Felix, and then Felix misses a header. But
that ain't his fault. Why we can see that goal?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that. But I'm saying that moment actually counts as a created chance. Like that wasn't creativity. He actually missed a header, but it counted as a created chance, which is why I say stats are fugazi.
I gotta ask you something real quick.
Other than that chance, I can't remember him having many chances himself.
But this is also before I bring in Cali here. Sorry, this is also my point again with Havertz, and I said it even at the World Cup with Germany, who also created a lot of chances in that group stage, especially against Japan. If your team are creating a lot of chances, but your striker's not on the end of most of these chances, in fact, he only had one big chance yesterday. That's a problem in itself. Again, a striker who's meant to be good about having great movement.
Absolutely.
Why are you not on the end of our chances? That is a problem in itself. So I have to emphasize Havertz.
I said that earlier on in the show, actually. I said the one problem I have with yesterday's game is that even though he created, supposedly stats say he created the most chances, big chances, and created chances in the game, that why is he not taking some of them? He should be the one on the end of some of them chances. It shouldn't be him putting himself out of positions where he should be, which I saw him do in some of the games today. Rather than running directly in the box, he seemed to want to run away from the box and drop in and try and. I want him to just sometimes just stay there. Do you know what I mean? Stay there. You know what I mean? And let the balls come into you, sort of thing. And I don't think he does that enough. And I'm not sure whether that's because he's just not a number 9.
He don't have the instincts of a 9.
I think that's what I'm saying. A typical number 9 would just know that I am going to link the play, but then my next movement's going to be that I'm going to find myself in the box and I'm going to stay there until the ball comes to me. I don't think that's him. And I just think that's because he's not a number 9. And that's why I keep telling people this. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, but
what do you want to ask me, bro?
No, yeah, real quick. And then you can actually transition to Andrew because I want his opinion on this too, both of yours specifically. The question is, are you seeing improvement in performances, or is the reality João Felix came back into the squad and his individual brilliance is increasing our performances? First you, then Andrew.
I feel like his Felix is a big part of that because again, our main issue throughout the season was creativity. I feel like defensively we're not as solid as we were on the Tuchel at his best in the Champions League run, but I feel like defensively we've still been okay enough throughout the season. I feel like where we have improved quite a bit, I would say, is some of our build-up play. I would say a lot of it, though. You're right. A lot of it is down to having a creator in the 10 where he can actually beat a player and then play somebody in. Because again, with Havertz and Mount, those guys weren't dribbling past players, but Felix is brilliant bringing that. Modric again was people want to criticize him for his performance.
He's not fit.
Too, but at least he was getting into dangerous positions and being more of a threat than we've seen from the likes of when Pulisic plays on the wing, in my opinion. So at least that offers something. So you're right, Kylie. There is some improvements.
Yeah.
I think most of it is down to just the personnel being better now, which is improving. But ultimately, and again to the point earlier that was being made, like we don't score goals because none of these guys are proven goal scorers. Like that's just the fact. And again, 100%. People maybe saw Felix as a sexy name. Okay, he comes in, but I followed his career. Like he's never scored more than 9 goals in a season. Like he's not a goal scorer. And the
other than when he was at Benfica, when he scored I think he scored 20 goals or something like that plus, but that was the only time.
Yeah, something like that. But again, again, the only prolific goal scorer we have other than Aubameyang on paper, he can't play in the Champions League, is Raheem Sterling. But even Raheem Sterling, if you watch him, you know that he's not super clinical. He just gets a lot of goals because of high volume and his movement. So that is a massive
correct once again.
So what I'm saying is, in a game like yesterday, where there was a bit of high volume and movement to a degree, do we think Sterling would have took one of them chances?
Yep. Sterling would have probably had 3 or 4 chances. He probably would have missed 2 sitters, but then scored one. That's just Sterling for you. Like Sterling would have probably missed.
But that's what we want, right? We want someone that's going to score at least.
Hey, Jem, all right, guys. You quickly, we got a striker, even though should we bring Lukaku back?
No way.
No.
We got creative now. Even though I can't stand Lukaku for what he did with too much on the thing, but
No, Dan. I gotta stop you. Put on Winter Surfer. I gotta stop you, Dan. I gotta stop you.
Jem, quickly, let me finish my last.
Why don't you want Lukaku back, guys?
Rather bring back Kesman.
Lukaku back.
Yeah, Jen, let me finish my last 2 points quickly. And I want to end on a bit more of a positive note, right? So Koulibaly came in. I wasn't sure if he was going to maybe have a good performance or what, but he came in, done a good job. Fair play to you, bro. Again, one thing that I heard again today that I disagreed with a lot was people's criticism of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And again, I said it before the show, he can come in and he can do a job and he can have a good game against Dortmund. And he was part of a team that dominated that midfield. Like, let's be real. Second half, we dominated that midfield. Yeah, first half, and you were right. Him and Enzo struggled at times. First 25 minutes, I think they had like 9 shots to go. Like, they made it hard for us. Again, Ruben isn't a natural 6, so a lot of things that you want to see from a 6, he doesn't do. Again, his best position is as an 8, and we just don't ever see him there. But again, like with Havertz, like with Mount, guys who are playing quote-unquote out of position, you still have to judge him as a 6. And yeah, he doesn't do some things that you like, but yesterday he done a lot of things great. Like a lot of things great. Let's be real. Like when a lot of his in the second half, he should have actually won a second yellow card from Bellingham. He should have got sent off.
He should have
made 2 bad tackles in like the space of 5 minutes. Should have got sent off. He also created our best chance of the game, which was the Koulibaly chance, which then unfortunately got saved. It is what it is. But Ruben created that chance. So when people are saying that, oh, Ruben this, Ruben that, it's like, are you guys actually watching the game? Like, are you just or do you have the ability to
release the ball quick enough
and see what's happening? Because Ruben had a good game.
It's the agendas, bro. It's the agendas.
Everybody loves a scapegoat, and it just is what
you have
it
it in
is.
your head. You have it in your head that he's this type of player, and you can't get it out of your head that he's actually playing a good game. It's just lazy. Like it's agenda. I can't even study that anymore, man. I can't study that anymore. It's just I know you really watch it.
But now my last point, which is to end on a positive, is that for me, I looked at that game again. I watched it again now with a bit more of a clear head. Dortmund are a decent team, but we're better. We're a better team than Dortmund, and we can beat these pricks. And I saw that brawl at the end, and I wanted to put my fist through my TV, bro. Like we gotta beat these pricks. And listen, our next big game
is that one where you asked him. He asked him who's Enzo, and he was like, you know, how do you? He was like, who's Enzo? Who's Enzo? Basically, he was just acting like
who said
that? Know Enzo. The man, did you not see the manager, the Dortmund manager? After there's a clip on German.
I've seen that.
And they're like talking about Enzo, and he's like, who? And he's like, Enzo, and he's like, who's that? Like basically lagging him off, basically.
Well, we got to bring him to the bridge and show who Enzo is, because we can't be taking this.
Hey, Enzo's still boss Bellingham anyway, so I don't give a fuck what people say.
Bellingham better than Bellingham, and us kind of in that midfield. But listen, I think we're better than them. But our issue is, again, like I told to Kali in the preview, like we can be better than teams, but people are scoring these goals for us, and that's just the issue. Like we just don't look like we're scoring goals. So you look at our next 3 games. It's Southampton, it's Tottenham away, and again, that might look like a hard game on paper, but look at our last 5 or 6 games against Tottenham. We always slap these guys. And then the game after that is Leeds at home.
They're
On
winnable.
paper for the Premier League,
Yeah.
those are winnable games, and not just winnable, but I want to see us put goals on the board. Like I want to, even if it means we got to play Dacho, who you can't play in the Champions League, just get somebody in the team that can score us goals and get the feeling of scoring goals. Because if we score 1 or 2, the floodgates will naturally open. These guys, again, scoring is like I don't know, how do you say, like, not a disease, but like it's a bug. Like,
That's
you
why I
can
think
catch it.
Mudryk. That's
It
why I
can
think
be
Mudryk needs to go
infectious.
forward. That's why I think Mudryk needs
I
to
just
go
think-
as well,
A lot
I
of these
just
guys
think
need to
Mudryk's
go
not
and then they can
fit.
get on a little roll. And I think for me, again, just to end on this point, like if we can get into the habit of maybe scoring 2 or 3 goals in any of these games, and just have that feeling of, you know what, we can score goals in games, we can be prolific, we can beat this Dortmund team, we can pin them back
Of
just like
course,
we did in that
of
second
course.
half, and we can beat these guys. So that's why I'm saying, fans, guys, as a fan base, let's just stay patient and stay positive. Okay, we're seeing progress. It's not perfect, it's not great for Chelsea, but we are seeing
So
progress.
yeah. So
And obviously,
we got.
if we lose at Southampton, then okay, it's a meltdown, and I would get it at that
Well,
point.
but we've
until
got to
then,
take at this moment in
just
time. We've
stay
got to take
patient.
it on a game
Your
by
chat's
game
going
basis
crazy.
anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Dev, your
So,
chat's going crazy.
but
Put her out, put her out, put her out, put her out,
Yeah, I
put
mean,
her out.
those are just
Everyone's
people
saying it on
being
the chat.
immature and
Put her
like
out,
being
put her
spoilt
out.
fans, and we just
anyway,
got to chill and be patient.
guys,
Be
guys,
patient.
1 second. Yeah, so obviously we've got this comment from Pies put up from TalkSport. It's Mario Melchior spoke to Todd Bowley and the officials in Dortmund last night, and basically the response was that Bowley admitted the club needs a striker. Melchior said, "Guys," then they said yes, and Melchior said, "Guys," and he said, then they said yes. We already know, so they are already aware that we need a striker. Which is what Mario Melchior was saying when he spoke to Todd Bowley last night. So there you
Blind
go.
man
There's
could
a
see
bit
that
of
we need a
motivation.
striker.
So,
Wasn't
win the
man.
circle, go on, mate. What do you want to say? Go on.
Quick question. Oh,
Just to
You
answer
guys-
Callie's question about João Felix, it's a bit of both for me. But João Felix is quality, and you can see the quality when someone dribbles and passes properly that we haven't had there before, and you can see why Mount doesn't deserve a place or earn a place in this team because he can't do that. What João Felix does. Going on to yesterday, Conte, Sarri, Lampard, Tuchel, Potter. It's the same thing for 5-6 years. The finishing. That's what it is. It's such the biggest thing under all those managers was the finishing. And again last night, it was the finishing. We could. I know Dortmund had chances and fair dues. Maybe the game should have ended 3-2 or 2-2 or something like that. But we go from bossing it to then just losing that goal, and then we lost the whole game. I just don't. The thing about getting onto Potter, I think it's just easy now, and I'd rather people just say you're Potter out no matter what than actually just hide behind certain things and try and be a CSI technician and go and pick through things. Like blaming him for not getting involved in a little handbag session, that's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. Do you know what I mean? What do you want him to do?
Ridiculous.
Start uppercutting people and stone cold stunner them or something like that. Because
Tuchel would have did this. Tuchel would have done that.
Yeah, Mourinho wouldn't have done that. He's a sneaky bastard. He pokes someone in the eye, so he doesn't even do it. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, we got 3 weeks now to the next session. I will say this: there's no excuse for a bad performance or a comfortable win against Southampton on Saturday. Not at all. I need a comfortable win and a good performance together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's no excuse. This is Southampton. This is a club preparing themselves for Championship football next season. Okay, there's no excuse whatsoever. And with Spurs, like someone said it before, Spurs never play well against us. When we were crap early this season, we outplayed them, and then we got Leeds coming up. Now, hopefully Sterling's back. Then we get Kovacic and Zakaria some more minutes into that. Chilwell, I hope Chilwell's okay and he's not injured again. But I just don't just say you're Potter out from the start no matter what, and I've got more respect for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can I ask a question? Like, everybody keeps saying like, we need time and Potter out and Potter this, and then everybody's saying against Southampton, it must be a win. It must be a win. Say we go against Southampton and we play like we did against Dortmund. We absolutely control the game. We create a load of opportunity. We do it more dangerous. Getting in the final third. There's composure. There's control. Everything. But we struggle to find that goal because we're all saying we don't have a striker. is everybody then still saying the same thing? Is it still Potter out? Is it still
Did we not
that's
lose
not
to
been there?
Southampton last? Did we not lose to Southampton this season? And we was doing that, Matty. Proper
Southampton are going to do the double over us.
Southampton beat us, didn't
Holy fuck.
And then Leeds. Then did we
No,
not
we're
lose
at
to
home,
Leeds
man.
United?
We got to win that.
Midfield? Did
No,
we not
our
lose to Leeds
standards are in the
United?
no. Hold on. Our standards are in the mud. Relegation Southampton are going to do the double over big old Chelsea Football Club, eh?
No, this is where I expect Potter to step up and make the right decision and not
Word.
start Havertz.
That
Do
I
not start
agree with.
Havertz
I'm
up
just
top.
more.
He's not
I
the main
agree.
problem.
This is a
He's
must
not the main
win.
problem because there are other people in the team that have been getting chances to score and they're missing. Felix, and we've spoken about the others, but he is a big part of the attack, so he needs to get dropped.
Do you think he
You
needs
know,
Mason now again?
you know what I think the problem is, and why it's taken so long to drop these guys? I really feel like there's a fear factor throughout the club that if you drop Havertz and we start banging in goals, he's not getting back into the side, you know. And
I don't think so.
I really do think that that's what it is, because why is it? How many goals?
Agreed.
How many goals does he have this season? And he plays match in, match out, match him. His technique is poor. Like all of these things. Like there's a lot invested in this guy.
You just sell him in the summer.
We've been giving him every license to be the guy that we thought that we bought 3 years ago, and he's not done it. You know, like every opportunity, it's not happening. You know,
you guys not think
like you put somebody young like Fofana into the game right now, who he might score a couple goals here and there, whatever. You lose the ability to go back to Havertz afterwards. I feel you lose the ability to do that.
That's true, but at the same time, what happens if we don't score goals and Havertz is benched for 5 games?
Exactly.
Let me cross that
We'll cross that hurdle when we get there. But how we gonna know if we don't try it? How we gonna know if we don't try it?
100%.
Don't you think they're trying to market these players?
What I'm
the
saying
ones
is
they want to
sell? Market these players?
Like to sell them in
the
like
best
Ziyech, for example.
Any of these players right now is to leave them on the bench, because every game
but then their value goes even lower. So like I'm thinking Ziyech the same. Like why would you? We keep asking why would he play them? Like are they not just giving them game time so they're like easier?
Because there was no option. Sterling was injured, Noni is unavailable. Listen, to answer Matty's question, listen, Matty answered a good question, right? And like Southampton's a big game, and like we really should be winning that game, no doubt about it. If the performance is still good, and like we still see progression based on game in, game out, because like guys, let's be honest. In the last 4 games, I think it was Fulham, Liverpool, West Ham, then obviously the game yesterday, right? Like we're seeing progression game in, game out. So like there's at least progress there. Again, I don't see how we can play better than we did against Dortmund and then not find a way to beat Southampton. That would be crazy to me.
Exactly.
But if we have another game like that where we play well, we create chances and we don't win, again, it is on the players, but then it's also on Potter for not playing Fofana if that's the case. Because if he starts with Havertz and we don't beat Southampton by playing well and creating a lot of chances, then I have to look at Potter and say, listen, everybody, including the owner, knows that we need a striker, and we have a striker on the bench there. So start Fofana, and I feel like we win that game. And then if we start the game and we start with Fofana and we create those chances and we don't win, then I mean, God forbid, what else can you say to Potter when it really is just on these players to go and win us the game?
And that's wrap. Let's go. Jam, we're done.
What are you doing, man? What's going on over there?
No, it's my bad.
No. Jem got to slide.
It's not for Jem needs to go. That's all.
I have got to leave, guys. I was meant to be in a meeting 5 minutes ago. So
we're in work, people. Smash the likes. People are taking off work.
Guys, we're beating Southampton, guys. We're beating Southampton. I'm not predicting many wins this season, but we're beating Southampton.
I'm back tomorrow anyway, so we'll just do this again. So and I'll hopefully have more time, and I'll get you in. I'll just put the link in early this time. I won't talk for an hour. I know I talk too much, and you can come in and we can just go in earlier. All right, but all right, guys. Big up to you. Good show. Enjoyed it. Good listening in.
Big up to you guys, man. Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.
Big up, Jim. Big up.
Up the Chelsea.
Big up.
Big up to the panel, for everyone that's in. Potter in, Potter out. Shake it all about. We do the Okoki and we turn around. That's all it's all about. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow.
Yes.